Food dives at the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Wednesday morning to you.
It is the early game coming to you. I am in Charlotte, North Carolina this morning. It's starting to get you officially ready for the South Carolina North Carolina Tar Heels. If you are in Charlotte, whether you live up here or whether you're already up here getting ready for the bowl game, you can come visit us. We will be here all day long. I'll be here, obviously, for the next 3 hours until 9 a.m. You can stop by, say hello, get some breakfast, and hang out. We are at 1402 West Trade Street here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll be here again from 6 to 9 a.m. Tommy Moody, the wonderful Tommy Moody, will be in here holding the fort down from 12 to 4, and then we turn the whole thing over to Heath Klein. He is the closer of 107.5 The Game, and we will turn it all over to him this afternoon from 4 to 7. So if you're coming into Charlotte today, if you're heading up this way, come on by again, 1402 West Trade Street in Charlotte, just past Bank of America Stadium on I-77. You go just a little ways past it, get off the interstate, take a left, and come on down. You can't miss it. Beautiful looking Bojangles here, Patrick. A very up-to-date, stylish Bojangles I'm at. Don't usually give high compliments to fast food restaurants, but I got to give a very high compliment to this one. It is a very nice looking establishment this morning as people are starting to swing through and pick up breakfast. Busy night last night. A lot of college football and some sad news in the NFL with the passing of John Madden. We'll touch on that, his impact on the sport as a whole, all the way from coaching to announcing to video games, Patrick, to video games. How are you doing this morning back in studio holding the fort down?
I'm doing well. Last show of the year, last early game of the year. I mean, you'll be on the radio at 6:30 tomorrow, so it's not the last. That's not going to necessarily feel like the last show for you, but it's our last early game of 2021, the eve of the bowl game. It's kind of an exciting time.
It is. You get Clemson and Iowa State today. We got another good lineup of bowl games coming to you today that you'll be able to check out. Yesterday, we get 4 of the 5 games that took place. There was a late cancellation that North Carolina State is not too pleased with. We'll talk a little bit about that. Patrick, one of the things that we talked about yesterday was the importance of that football game for Auburn and maybe how just it kind of correlates back to South Carolina and going into a game 6-6, losing to Houston a little bit different, even an 11-2, a previously 11-2, now 12-2 Houston team, but losing to a name like Houston as opposed to losing to a name like North Carolina, a little bit different. But that was a game yesterday. Auburn had a lot of opportunities, Patrick, but simply does not get it done, and they fall 17-13 early on in the bowl day. Tank Bigsby, 16 carries, 96 yards, but never really felt like they got him going. TJ Finley, 19 of 37 for a touchdown. And Patrick, I think that's a kind of loss with the way TJ Finley played. Already questions about Brian Harsin. I don't think it sends Auburn into the offseason on a good note. Obviously, when you lose, that's not good, but I think it raises more questions than they would like to have for the next 9 months.
Yeah, I think it absolutely does. And I don't even know if they would have felt good going into the offseason if they won this game 17-13. And I mean, it's not like, just looking at the numbers, doesn't look like TJ Finley necessarily had a bad day, or an awful day, did he? I guess 19 of 37 is not bad, but 227 yards and a touchdown, didn't turn the ball over. I guess a subpar performance. But if you were an Auburn fan, were you excited? You weren't excited about going into next year with TJ Finley, were you? I can't imagine that was the case. And is he the presumptive starter?
I think he is at this point. They may have to go look. There are guys out there, as we all know, in that transfer portal still at the quarterback position. But you look at Auburn, and that's a program right now. We talk about South Carolina and quarterback issues and what they've done to rectify the quarterback room with the additions of Braden Davis and Tanner Bailey as freshmen, and then obviously the big addition of Spencer Rattler. And you feel, if you're a South Carolina fan, you go, hey, okay, we got Rattler, and we'll see what he is, and does he live up to that hype and the Heisman billing that he had going into this year? What can he do next year? But you at least look behind them and go, okay, I like where the future kind of is with Bailey and with Davis. Maybe throw in Colton Gauthier
as well. Don't leave out Luke Doty. So you kind of like the room there that the quarterbacks have. I don't know if you feel that way at Auburn because TJ Finley has done some nice things during his career there. I watched a lot of that game yesterday, and you're right. If you're just basing it on the stat line, you kind of say, hey, he wasn't that bad, but they were 4 of 15 on third downs yesterday, and he missed some throws at very, very critical times yesterday that would have kept drives going or maybe even put some points on the board where Auburn could have won comfortably. Not just won the game, but could have won comfortably, and he flat out missed some throws. And his offseason development, they're going to bring in a new offensive coordinator from the Seattle Seahawks, who was the passing game coordinator. Auburn, again, I think Auburn and South Carolina are two examples of bowl games that you can – I think, Patrick, you said it yesterday. If you want to be that person and say that a loss is negative and it really impacts the next 9 months and, oh, woe is me and, man, what are we going to do? Big problems. You can say that about Auburn right now, or you can say, hey, it's the final chapter on the first year of Brian Harsin. He's got to hit the transfer portal. We have a great player, maybe one of the best players in the country in Tank Bigsby coming back next year. We got something to build around. Who cares? It's one game. 6-7 doesn't mean anything. Own to 2022. So I think you can go both ways of that, much like you'll kind of be able to do for South Carolina tomorrow.
I don't know that Auburn fans, because we've said yesterday, South Carolina's in a no-lose situation almost, because we will be excited as a fan base going into next year because we've got the quarterback, because there's a lot of momentum, because we doubled the Vegas win total expectation. And Auburn, I don't think there's any way. I don't even think the most optimistic Auburn fans are going into next year excited unless you just ignore the last 4 weeks of the season and said, look, we had a good first half and we won some big games. We've shown what the ceiling can look like. I mean, I guess that's your argument, but for them, there was almost no situation they were coming out of the bowl game saying, here we go, let's ride into 2022. I'm excited because they don't have an answer at quarterback. I'm reading about how looks like a lot of Auburn fans want Demetrius Davis, a Houston, Texas kid. I guess he's going to be a sophomore next year or redshirt freshman. They want him to start, and because you can't just be fired up about TJ Finley. Like there's no givens about next year's Auburn team or anything that they can really expect other than Tank Bigsby's back, and you're feeling good about that, but he wasn't enough by himself this year, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, look, Demetrius Davis is. I think if I've never seen him in person, so I'm going to base it off of what he was listed at in recruiting. But he's about 5'11". He is not a passing quarterback.
He's not 5'10" and a half.
Yeah, he's not a Russell Wilson where you go, okay, well, height isn't a big deal here. He's more of a scrambling, running quarterback, and as to what that fits with, I believe it is Austin Davis coming in from the Seattle Seahawks, who was their passing game coordinator, and how that fits with what what he wants to do. I can't say that. I don't. It's going to be very interesting to see. Davis, the new offensive coordinator, is a 7-year NFL veteran, and he was or is. I guess I'm not real sure, to be honest, if he is still maintaining his position with the Seahawks, but he was the quarterback's coach in Seattle. And so how that works for Auburn moving forward. But again, to our point, Patrick, I think Auburn is a perfect example of what bowl games could mean, how they project into 2022, what kind of momentum they can provide. And yesterday, 17-13. And again, Houston's a good football team. South Carolina fans remember Houston from the Liberty Bowl with Art Briles way back in the 2006 there. I think it was Spurrier's first bowl victory after an 05 loss to Missouri, and in 06 they go out to the Liberty Bowl and beat Houston in a shootout. Kenny McKinley had a big game. Sidney Rice had a big game. Way back when, Patrick, I'm sure you were very enthralled in that game. Kenny McKinley threw a football into the end zone. He scored a long touchdown to wrap it up and threw the football into the stands. And afterwards, Steve Spurrier said, well, we gave Kenny a game ball, but he threw his into the stands. So no game ball for him. But Houston's always been a good program, but they're not a Power 5 program. And when you lose to when you're an Auburn, when you're an SEC team, and you lose to a Houston, it doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't look good on the resume.
No, it doesn't. And you're Auburn. You consider yourself to be at the top of the SEC. Like you're not Missouri. I mean, Missouri lost to Army. That's a very bad loss, but nobody really is up in arms about that or going to be talking about that because people just don't really care about Missouri. Auburn has won a national championship in the last 11 years, and they've played in another one. So Auburn's a premier program, and that's just, even in their down years, you're expected to beat a team like Houston. There's never an excuse to not beat to lose to a non-Power 5 team if you're Auburn. So look, I guess Auburn's an example of what the bowl game can mean, but I just think for them going into this game, it was either, hey, the best case scenario is let's salvage what was a disappointing season by whooping a group of 5 team and then moving on, and we'll just get the bad taste out of our mouths and we'll start over with a new quarterback and we'll try and recreate the magic of the first half of the season. But the worst case scenario was way worse than the best case scenario. The bad on the worst case scenario side is much more substantial than the good on the best case scenario side was, because now they're just feeling even more bad about themselves. You now have a losing record after a good start, a first-year coach who nobody knew if he was going to fit in culturally anyway, a kid whose dad went to Auburn, is an Auburn lifer, is now transferring, even though you weren't in love with him anyway. He played a couple good games, and you have no idea who your quarterback's going to be with this quarterback guru. It's just nothing seems to be coming up Auburn right now. If we're doing like a stock example of them, like their stock is as low as anyone's is right now in the SEC, based off the midpoint of the season. From now, it was just complete downward spiral.
It'll be interesting to see where they're projected next year in the SEC West when we circle back around to SEC Media Day in July and kind of everything that transpires. Again, you kind of mentioned it with what their fans would like at the quarterback position. And again, you can go out there. Connor Bazelak's out there. Who else is still out there? Zach Calzada's
out there. The top guy on the 24/7 list is Cameron Ward from Incarnate Word. So it seems like he's going to be going to Ole Miss. Is what all the buzz is.
So yeah, I mean, again, a lot there to kind of analyze as far as Auburn, but I think we're not going to spend 3 hours on the Auburn Tigers. We're a South Carolina station, and we kind of do stuff with the Gamecocks. But the bottom line is, I think you take what happened in the Auburn game yesterday, and now what the next 9 months look like for the Auburn Tigers, and what the fans feel like, and I think you can use that a little bit towards South Carolina, Patrick, as we get ready for this bowl game. It does look like they'll play yesterday. Both websites, GamecockCentral.com and TheBigSpur.com, kind of going reporting continuously, we'll say, on testing and whether the game could be canceled. Obviously, last night UCLA pulls out at 3 hours before game time. I believe it was 3:30. I believe.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the Holiday Bowl's Twitter page, and I mean, they even did like their parade. They did the whole 9 yards, and then just didn't play the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a last-second decision there to pull out of that game, and again, from what I've read, North Carolina State is not happy with the decision by UCLA. Last night I got up into Charlotte, got myself some dinner. I was anticipating watching that game. Plans were altered drastically, obviously, as it pertains to that game. But yesterday, again, so I say all that to say that here we sit at now 6:18 on Wednesday morning. South Carolina, North Carolina, the football game is still on. It's anticipated to be played. We are certainly hoping that it is played. I'm up here, and we'll be up here again tomorrow morning doing the pregame show, Heath and I, from right here at Bojangles, getting you ready for the 11:30 a.m. kick. But as we've now seen, Patrick, games like these can be canceled almost within hours of being played. And so I think you're on constant standby to see what happens between South Carolina and North Carolina.
Yeah, nobody's going to be comfortable. We said yesterday, we thought that with the testing day being Tuesday, you felt like, okay, get through today, have your team still intact, and it should hopefully be smooth sailing. But no, you're never going to feel safe now. We got 28 hours, something like that, 27 hours. I don't even know the math, but you're going to be on pins and needles basically until tomorrow morning. People are going to set their alarms on tonight and be planning on waking up to tailgate, and the first thing you're going to have to do is check your phone, check Twitter, check all the latest updates to see if you even should bother driving to Charlotte.
Yeah, good news. The good news is you just pointed out it's a drive for most. Can you imagine being an NC State fan? I guess there are worse things to happen to you than to go all the way out to San Diego and be stranded. I would imagine they found those tough North Carolina State fans having to survive in San Diego. I think we should all create a GoFundMe page for them and everything that they've had to go to out there in horrible San Diego. So good for not good for college football, but hey, if you're NC State, I guess you get a few days out in San Diego and you get to enjoy what I assume is always great weather and beautiful scenery and all the fun things to do. But that one was canceled. There was other games yesterday. The Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, Air Force knocks off Louisville 31-28. And then last night, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Patrick, did you get to watch most of this? Texas Tech just bops Mike Leach all over the Liberty Bowl field, 34-7. Just an absolute domination last night by the Red Raiders as they just, most of those kids, it's been, not off the top of my head, I think it's been almost 9 years since Leach has been in Lubbock. It's been a while. So those kids don't remember his time there. They're probably not really familiar with Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree and all those players. So I can't say that those players were upset and playing for pride or playing for, hey, let's beat the old former coach. But I know a lot of alumni for Texas Tech were probably thrilled to see what happened to Mike Leach last night.
I'm sure you are anytime it's a returning coach, but didn't Texas Tech fans not want him to be fired? Like, wasn't that a contra? I can't even remember the whole situation, but didn't he leave under a big wave of controversy and everyone was upset that he got fired? I know he thinks he was suing the school, I think, or something along those lines because he felt like he was wrongfully fired.
Yeah, he matter of fact, there's an ESPN article where that recently came out where he says that Texas Tech still owes him money and he would like to collect on that. So he is last night there was no good feelings, no love lost between him and I guess the administration there in Texas Tech. You're right, the fan base may be a little bit different, but one thing that comes out of that game last night, they get crushed 34-7. It's a beating, but afterwards Mike Leach saying that he basically had lost track of how many players they were without for the bowl game. They were down 16 players last night going into that game. And, Patrick, this is another thing. There's a couple things about yesterday's bowl games. There's the Auburn thing and how it pertains to me, how I see it pertaining to South Carolina. There's the Mike Leach thing. There is the storyline that the SEC right now is getting walloped in bowl season.
Yeah, we need to talk about that because there is obviously a lot of takes about it. We just got a text from Richard saying he thinks it just shows the SEC's top heavy. But are you feeling like you have to rationalize this to people as SEC fans, and are South Carolina fans watching this on TV laughing at Auburn losing to Houston? Or are they saying, crap, this is supposed to be one of our top tier teams and they're losing a group of 5 team? Like, this is not a good look for the, it just means more crowd right now.
I think you pull for the SEC when they play somebody you really don't like, aka Clemson. When Georgia plays Clemson, you're
or an
like,
ACC
all right,
team
now,
because we love just dumping on the ACC. Is that what people do?
Yeah, I honestly did. Yes, I think you're 110% right on that. I think it has more to do with teams we don't like or with conferences we don't like. I don't know if South Carolina fans are watching the SEC get just beaten around right now by Houston, by Central Florida, by
Army and Texas
Army.
Tech.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Texas Tech at least is a Power 5 conference. So you can hey, look, it's a Power 5 conference. Mississippi State, it is what it is. But Army, Central Florida, or I think I'll probably get a nasty letter from them now that you saw that they wanted to be referred to as UCF during the whole ESPN broadcast.
Why?
Did you catch that?
No. What?
Yeah, prior to the UCF Florida game, they sent a memo UCF did to ESPN, basically asking, and they did it in a nice way, I reckon, but said that they would like to be called UCF during the ESPN broadcast of the UCF Florida game, to not refer to them as Central Florida. That's not who they are.
What are the CF then?
UCF. That's
what does the CF stand for?
Huh?
I would just double down and only call them Central Florida if I got something like that. Can South Carolina say that we want to be referred to as USC tomorrow?
You could.
That's all we want. We want it to be UNC versus USC. And if you say Carolina, we would like you to be referring to us.
Why not? Yep, that's what South Carolina should do tomorrow. Should send a nice letter to ESPN and say we want to be referred to as Carolina.
Yeah.
You refer to the other
do not say Carolina. Refer to North Carolina. We will not be happy. Yeah,
that's right. We'll continue talking about that. Patrick, you're right. We need to discuss the SEC and try and put that in context as to what it means. I don't know what it means. I would like to think that we wouldn't be sitting here today bragging about being 4-0 with wins over Army, over Central Florida, and over.
It's every bowl season. I feel like this is happening. This discussion comes up every bowl season.
Well, but you know what? And this is where I was going to tie that back in with Mississippi State missing players. And I'll bring this up in regards to South Carolina, too, in the next segment. The number of players that are already out for South Carolina when you talk about an 85-man roster. So we'll get to all that. There's a lot to get to this morning here on the early game. Again, Patrick Perrette is in studio. So if you want to give us a shout this morning, just tell him your name and what you want to talk about. Don't have a conversation with him. He's trying to have a conversation with me, and you can talk with him on air. 803-404-6100. Name and what you want to talk about. That's all you got to tell him when you call in.
Yes,
and we'll get you right on air. Patrick is, don't grizzle him by trying to talk to him off air about the sports take that you have.
Gamecock Larry did exactly how it should be done. He said, it's Gamecock Larry. I'm making a prediction about the Clemson-Iowa State game. I said, all right, I'll put you on hold. He said, thank you. Here we go.
We'll get to him. I am in Charlotte, 1402 West Trade Street, Charlotte, North Carolina. We are at a beautiful Bojangles, Patrick. There's actually, looking over to my right, very nice
on the live stream. It's very classy.
Yeah, very classy. It's got still got some Christmas decorations up. There's a beautiful little Christmas tree over there. I've already got myself a Mountain Dew. That was the way to start the morning, and we'll move on to the sweet tea and the sausage biscuits and the Bowberry biscuits and all the delicious food that Bojangles has to offer each and every time we are at one of the Bojangles venues. But again, this morning, 1402 West Trade Street here in Charlotte. It's on I-77. You can go just past Bank of America Stadium, get off of I-77, take a left, come on over. You can't miss it. Beautiful looking Bojangles. I'll be here till 9 a.m. The one, the only Tommy Moody. Everybody wants to take a picture with Tommy Moody. Grandpa Moody will be here from 12 to 4. And, of course, Heath Klein, the face of the radio station, will be here from 4 to 7. So come on up today. If you're coming up to Charlotte for the football game, stop by Bojangles, 1402 West Trade Street here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We look forward to seeing you. We'll be up here all day long, getting you ready. The Gamecocks and the Tar Heels tomorrow morning, 11:30. But we got plenty to talk about here on the early game. You're listening to Bill Gunner and Patrick Perrette on 107.5 The Game.
This is Gamecock basketball head coach Frank Martin, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Oh, a lot of you are making the trip up. You're probably going to be hopping in that brand new car, maybe a certified pre-owned car. Probably the place you got it from is Love Chevrolet. I mean, why would you not go over to Love Chevrolet? You know, one of the reasons you should go, you will not have sticker shock. Have you ever had that? You go check out, you're thinking, hey, I'm going to purchase this brand new great vehicle. You're all excited about it. You go to the dealership, you look at the sticker, and holy cow, they've added $20,000 or $30,000 owned to the actual price. Way more than you anticipated paying. That's not the case at Love Chevrolet. In this time of high demand and low supply, Love Chevrolet still is taking care of their customers by not tacking on those mean, nasty add-ons other dealerships are doing. So go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park. You can also visit them on the web, lovechevy.com. Whether it's a brand new vehicle or a certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't go wrong by going and visiting the incredible sales staff at Love Chevrolet. Again, I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
And from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality, shepherdsglass.com. No incidents to report right now. It is 64 degrees in Columbia with a high of 75 today.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The holiday.
All right. So I'm thinking Bill's internet's going to be very bad this morning. That's my expectation, just from what I've been able to gather so far. Also just left my mic on while I said that. But yeah, I don't think the internet's going to be very good there at Bojangles. It wasn't when we were at Bojangles. And I'm not sure. Right now, it's also not going to be this angle the entire time. He needs to charge his iPad because it didn't charge last night. So hopefully it'll get better by the end of the show. But We'll see. Now I have to figure out things to talk about. What do we want to talk about on the live stream besides sports in South Carolina? Are we upset about that? Do people care? Are you having to argue with your Clemson fans about why it's not a big deal? Clemson fan friends? Because it does happen every bowl season. I can remember having this conversation last year too. Maybe 2 years ago, because last year's bowl season was also weird.
We have 3 breaks in the 7 and then 1 break in the 8.
Right. Yeah. What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, you might want to check what heat on that is. That's what I used to drink prior to coffee.
Yeah, I mean, I can do the show, but live stream is just like
Let me
filler time. It's not like I'm out here. See, Bill's not going to contribute to the live stream today.
other way. There we go. Now I should hear you. Good.
It's good. I don't think your internet's very good.
Oh, is it? Well, I'm not connected to the. I'm using the whatever the iPad does. Is it freezing
What?
up?
No, not really. But I could hear it when in the headset. I could hear that the headset was ahead of the laptop. You'd say something to the headset, then I'd hear it in the laptop.
Really? Well, I don't have my laptop. I'm having to use the
Or the iPad, yeah.
Yeah.
What? What is this? Yeah, that's right. I'm very jealous. I honestly might go buy a Bojangles on my way home because I'd love to eat a Cajun filet biscuit right now. Now, Anthony, I hate doing it, but I'm watching this movie in bits and pieces. I hate doing that, but it's just worked out that I've had to do that so far. So I'm about 30 minutes right now. It'll be done by the weekend, but I do feel bad about it.
What are you doing? You're watching what in pieces?
Watching The Matrix in like 15 to 30 minute segments.
Is it streaming somewhere?
It's on HBO Max, yeah.
Is it? Okay. I still haven't subscribed to the HBO Max. I hadn't taken the time to add that one to the list.
It's worth it. All right, we're back.
And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
pair of tickets to tomorrow's bowl game, South Carolina, North Carolina, here at Bank of America Stadium here in Charlotte. I am up here this morning at the Bojangles at 1402 West Trade Street. You can come and, if you're in the area, don't feel like you need to hop in your car this morning and come visit me. I'm not that important. I will be back tomorrow morning with Heath Klein, 6:30 to do the pregame show. So tomorrow morning now, if you're up here, if you're arriving late this afternoon, number one, if you're arriving late this afternoon, come visit Heath Klein. He loves people. He's actually a big teddy bear, isn't he, Patrick? He's
the most charming person at the station.
He is. I was voted most romantic. He's voted most charming. It's different titles. We all wear them like a badge of honor around here. And Heath is well known as being quite the charming guy himself. So come by and visit him today. He will be here, 1402 West Trade Street, here at the Bojangles in Charlotte. You can come by and visit us and hang out with us. Again, you can join us this morning. 803-404-6100 is how you can do so. We're also on the Buford Lending live stream. Patrick was holding down the fort during the break and talking about how he is currently viewing The Matrix, which apparently he is streaming in 15-minute segments. Have you picked up anything good from The Matrix, the new Matrix movie so far?
No, I hate doing it this way, but I've just been busy and tired, and I've started watching it 15 minutes in and had to go do something. I started watching 15 minutes more yesterday after the show and then fell asleep, and it's not, I feel bad because movies need to be watched all together because then you get the full understanding of things, and I feel like you just miss out on stuff when you're not watching it all together. So I just end up restarting it, but it is 2.5 hours, and the fact that I've already knocked out 30 minutes is kind of making me not want to start over. So I don't know. I do feel guilty. I feel like it's not going to get the desired effect from me. The Matrix deserves better, I do feel like.
You're just going to have to.
I honestly feel guilty about watching it on HBO Max because it's the kind of thing that does look good on a big screen, but I just don't want to go to the theater and spend 4 hours of my day watching a 2.5-hour movie. Maybe not 4 hours. That might be an exaggeration, but it's going to be 3.5 because 30 minutes of trailers and 15 minutes each way adds an extra hour.
It's true. Yeah, it's a good point. All good points from you there. 803-404-6100 is how you can join us. Love Chevy phone lines or the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Let's get out to those Love Chevy phone lines. Patrick, you mentioned Gamecock Larry, as he does each and every morning. He has got a prediction he's ready to make. Iowa State and Clemson later today, 5:45 in the Cheez-It Bowl. Dabo Swinney looking very pretty in his all orange yesterday. Gamecock Larry, how you doing this morning?
Doing just fine, waiting for that Cheez-It Bowl. But let me say a little thing about Auburn. This is 3 games that I watched with Auburn, and we thought we had we know we had some bad play calling, but this is 3 games. I think on one series, this is where their play calling just lost the game for them because they were down there with a little over 2 minutes to go and second down and 2 yards to go. And you know what? They done got Tank Bigsby in the backfield, and they threw the ball 3 times trying to make 2 yards. Give it the ball to Tank, and Tank, he'd have got the first down, I'm pretty sure, and they might have won that ball game. But this makes 3 games I don't think that coach at Auburn is the right man for Auburn, but I don't think he's an SEC coach. Now, that's about all about Auburn, but this afternoon, I've been watching Dabo on them commercials. He's kind of, I don't know, he ain't Dabo, but they gonna lose this afternoon. They gonna lose 31-24. Iowa State gonna beat Clemson 31-24, and I wish I could be up there where I could go see old Bill and Heath and all you guys, but I can't ride my scooter that far, the key and ride it outside, so I just stay here at the house, watch a little bit of TV, got it on mute, but I'm listening to you, and I'm going to listen to you all day tomorrow, and I'll have the prediction of the year tomorrow for our bowl game.
Gamecock Larry, we need the prediction of the year today because there's no show tomorrow.
I got to have it today?
Yeah, there's no show tomorrow. Bill and Heath will be doing the pregame show, but there's going to be no more early show. We need you got to do it on the fly.
Got to do it on the fly. Gamecocks is going to go in there. Zeb Nolan's going to have 4 time-consuming drives. It's going to result in 4 scores. That's 28 points. Parker White, 2 field goals, 34. 34 South Carolina. 23 North Carolina. 34-23 South Carolina. Had to do it on the fly, but that's 34-23 South Carolina. We will get 400 yards off. No. The Zeb's calling. We will get 320 yards off total offense, and our defense has got to play lights out, but they will. Go Gamecocks. Talk to you later, buddy.
All
Go.
right. Great work.
Phone call. That was excellent. 34-23 is the. Is it going to be the official Gamecock Larry prediction? Because we kind of forced him into that one on the fly.
Yeah, but that's honestly
math.
That's gut feel. That's gut feel. That's as honest as it was going to get. He was going to spend all day listening to the afternoon Heath, and he was going to go back and forth in his mind on the score. This was gut feel. That's exactly what we need.
That was a very good prediction, young man. Thank you to Gamecock
Nailed
Larry.
it.
Very good.
I like
phone
hearing
call.
him discuss the thought process that he goes through to arrive at that score too.
We were trying to do 4. I
It's
thought
like
he
a
was
beautiful mind.
4 touchdown passes for Zeb Nolan. I thought he was going that way, but he really threw us a curve with 4 time-consuming drives.
Yeah.
That caught me a little off guard. I thought we were going to get Zeb Nolan going out on a high note with 4 touchdown passes. Instead, he threw the curveball and went 4 time-consuming drives. Now, I will say, what did I hear him say at the end? 320 total yards for South Carolina?
Maybe. I mean, if he has 4 time-consuming drives and we kick 2 field goals, I'm assuming he doesn't predict any punts, so it's probably only going to be 6 drives.
Okay, 6. Yeah, wow, that would seem fair. I would think South Carolina would have a few more.
I mean, if you have 6 drives and they all take up, 6 minutes apiece, you're in pretty good shape.
That's a good point. That's an excellent point.
Actually, more than 6. It's going to take more than 6 minutes.
The early game, your home for great math. That's exactly poor English, but good math. That's what we're known for here on the early game. I do want to get into this Clemson game. Wait, a couple things I want to get into here in the 7 o'clock hour. One is this Clemson game this afternoon. I think even as a South Carolina fan, you're very interested to see what Clemson looks like today. It'll be really the debut of wonder kid Wes Goodwin, the new defensive coordinator. He'll team with Mickey Kahn. Co-defensive coordinator is there, but Wes Goodwin, the former analyst who's now been promoted onto the staff, and really Dabo Swinney has really praised him. Bruce Arians putting out some comments about him. Goodwin working with Bruce Arians when they were with the Arizona Cardinals, Patrick, and we'll get into this a little bit more in the next hour, but seeing Brandon Streeter, that's the other side of the ball there for Clemson, and seeing him as offensive coordinator now, I don't think if you're a Clemson fan, I don't think you really care about the development so much of DJU today. Brandon Streeter's going to have all offseason to really – he already was the quarterback's coach, but he's going to have more time to really kind of figure things out. But I think you're interested in the play calling today and how they set things up.
Yeah, and because Clemson's also missing a lot of people too. I mean, Justin Ross opted out a while ago, but they're going to be a little bit banged up. It would be something if the game plan is just have DJU just ripping it, and he's able to light it up. And I don't know how they're planning to attack Iowa State, because I don't know that much about Iowa State's defense. They just strike me as a rough-nosed team that's going to stop the run, but you can throw on them because it's the Big 12. I don't know. All I know about Iowa State is that they have Brock Purdy and Breece Hall is not playing. So we'll see. I don't know what the game plan is going to be, but it will be interesting. It's 2 kind of early introductions to a couple coaches that are going to be very integral to the next couple years.
That Breece Hall not playing is very big. John Heacock is the defensive coordinator for Iowa State. He was a guy that got mentioned a lot last year, potentially. I don't know if it was ever serious. I know that his name was brought up multiple times for South Carolina's defensive coordinator job. Obviously, there's a little bit of a connection there, him being at Iowa State and Shane Beamer being at Oklahoma. Now, how much of an actual relationship was there or is there between the two people? But John Heacock, who runs that 3-3-5 defense, and it's known for being very multiple and how they'll shift a linebacker down and go to more of a 4-2-5, or have a stand-up linebacker and stay in that 3-3-5, but then drop into zone. It's a defense. John Heacock is a defensive mastermind, and how Brandon Streeter is able to attack him today, and the kind of the matching of wits there between the two, it's going to be interesting. Again, I know if you're a Clemson fan, you're interested in the bowl game today. I know our buddy Jim Corley, and Jim in Carolina Beach has already weighed in and said, go Tigers. I might have missed his prediction, Patrick, but I know he's already in on that. And again, if you're Clemson, I think as a South Carolina fan, I'm fascinated to watch Clemson today and to see this kind of new era of Clemson football really start with these two new coordinators and what they're able to do. You mentioned Brock Purdy. Where do you have Brock Purdy right now on the Perrette big board?
Not high. I mean, he'll be a good, probably a good backup. I don't think he's going to be a starting quarterback. No.
I think you were pretty high on him at the start of last year.
I mean, he
started last year, 2020. You were a Brock Purdy fan.
Yeah, and I think he's a good quarterback. It's just he's not going to be the guy that fires up anybody because he's got not a strong arm, and he usually makes good decisions, but he's just going to be a distributor. And if he's a smart kid and good on the board and good in the film room and stuff like that, then he'll be a long time backup. But even in a bad quarterback class, he's not going to be sniffing the first round conversation.
One thing just to keep an eye on, it looks like E.J. Williams for Clemson will be out today. No, at least I have not seen confirmation on the exact reason. A lot of people believing it's COVID protocol. As of yesterday, Grace Rayner was reporting that Bo Collins, Will Sweeney, and Dakari Collins were running first string with the Tiger offense. Joseph Nagata was at least dressed out, but not running first string. So the Tigers still down wide receivers. Excuse me. John Heacock, again, a very good defense coordinator. We'll continue to talk about that because it is one of the more entertaining games of the day. We'll get into that question as well. Kelly on our live stream, on our Buford Lending live stream, says, I think the bowl record for the SEC matters. I want our conference to kick the mess out of all the other conferences. We'll talk about that as well.
Also, Bill, I just realized, I mean, I had mentioned it's our last show of the year, but I mean, we kind of need to, we don't have to break it down, but we need to at least get predictions for the college football playoff because we're not going to have a show before then.
We have so much we need
to do.
There's
a lot that we need to get through.
A lot. It's a busy show. Thank goodness we have 2 more hours. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
College football playoffs are here.
Sometime, crew is up against it. The breaks are beating the boys. Tell them to get out there and give it all they got. And win just one zip.
College football playoffs are here on 107.5 The Game.
Yes, it is that time of year. Start of a new year. You want to start off with New Year's resolutions, such as making sure your home is clean. And you can do that with Zero Res. You can give them a phone call today, 803-262-4020. You can also book online, ZeroResColumbia.com is where you can do that. But why do you want to do it? You want that house looking pretty, whether it is for a New Year's party or whether it's just for the start of the new year. You want Zero Res to get out with their patented ZR water technology and clean your home. That's right. And if you call them today, 803-262-4020, and mention my name, you got to actually say Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game. You can't just say, hey, I heard the short person on the sports station. I heard the guy who doesn't look all that pretty on that talking show. Nope, you got to say Bill Gunner, 107.5 The Game. You can get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $109. Just Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, 803-262-4020. That's how you can call Zero Res today and get that appointment booked. It is the incredible ZR water technology that is superior and long lasting. Whether it's your rugs, your tile, your upholstery, they'll all be insanely clean after Zero Res visits the house. 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $109 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game. Schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com, or give them a call, 803-262-4020. Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
And from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality, shepherdsglass.com. Just one incident to report in the Midlands. It is a collision on US 601 and Leesburg Road. Again, that's US 601 and Leesburg Road.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Dreams are amazing, But wake up in time to have Taco Bell's toasted breakfast burritos with eggs, cheese, and bacon. Toasted breakfast burritos. Available at a participating Taco Bell location near you during breakfast hours only, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m.
The demand for your used car is at an all-time high, and it's never been worth more. Herndon Chevrolet needs your trade. We'll buy your car, even if you don't buy ours. And to prove it, we're willing to beat any written offer by $500. That's right. We'll beat any written offer by $500. Visit Herndon Chevrolet today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
All right. Yeah, kind of. There's a lot of pressure to get a lot of things in. Pressure to adequately cover the Carolina game, but also Bill's going to be doing that tomorrow. Well, shoot, what do you just roll through the bowl schedule?
The season, they sell that season. I got to remember to lean over and turn up the volume so I hear you talk when you bring stuff up. Otherwise, I can tell you're talking, but I'm not sure what you're talking about. All right, so the 8 o'clock, yeah. So good idea on the no guest thing today since we got so much to get into.
Yeah. We got the New Era Pinstripe Bowl today. Love the Pinstripe Bowl. New Era Pinstripe Bowl today, Maryland, Virginia Tech.
2 o'clock?
2:15?
2:45?
2:15.
2:15. I knew there was a 5 involved in it, too. Yeah, I ended up not getting up here until it was later than I wanted to yesterday. I didn't get away till late, so I just picked up some subs last night and sat in the room. Oh, we got a phone call. Who we got?
We got Scott.
Who?
Scott.
Scott. Okay. How much time are we gonna have coming back?
I mean, we can take the extra minute and put him on right away.
Just hold.
We're only gonna have a minute.
I've got a topic we're gonna bring up. Terry's over here. We're gonna solicit information. Terry's never had a Bojangles biscuit. What is the biscuit he has to have?
All right. Mention for. Oh, we got another one.
Did you read Kentucky Joe's text message? No, he's on the phone. He's forewarning you about the Matrix.
Jeez. I mean, I've heard that it's not that good, but I'm still gonna watch it. All right. Well, we got Scott and David. We're not gonna be able to get. But,
they just need to hold. You just need to let them know to hold through. We'll get them on the first break of next.
Just mention it. Just say, all right, we're going to the end of the hour. Scott, David, everybody stay on hold. We'll take the calls. If they stay on hold, we'll take their calls at the very top of the 7.
Or I'll just tell them to call back at the top of the hour.
We're back.
About a minute left in this hour. If you're on hold on the Love Chevy phone lines, we'll get to you at the top of the next hour, get your take on what's going on bowl season, but not a lot of time now and don't want to cut anybody short. Do need to ask or let you know we are up here. I'm up here in Charlotte. Patrick is in studio. I'm at the Bojangles, 1402 West Trade Street. If you're heading up to Charlotte today, come on by. You might not get up here in time to see me. That's perfectly okay. You can always visit me on the Buford Lending live stream. Patrick and I holding it down there, discussing the Matrix a little bit. But Tommy Moody will be here, 1402 West Trade Street. Again, the Bojangles. He'll be here from 12 to 4, and Heath Klein from 4 to 7. Our new really good friend who you'll be hearing more from in 2022, Terry Ford, over here to my left. He's never eaten at a Bojangles. Patrick, what is the one biscuit he has to have? Biscuit, not sandwich.
Cajun filet.
See, but sausage biscuit, we'll debate a little bit of this. We'll talk this and bowl and more in hour number 3. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL with live local radio. 107.5.
All right, yeah, that's a good debate. Because every time I go to Bojangles now, they'll start dividing back up. Yeah, that is a good debate. Because
I think the sausage biscuit, and the only reason I say the sausage biscuit is because the Cajun filet I think is their most popular, but the sausage biscuit is such a staple. I feel like it's almost like you have to try sausage biscuits from around everywhere to figure out. It's kind of like a hamburger. You know, like certain places have the best sausage biscuits.
I don't know. Every single time. Now, I get the same thing every time I go to Bojangles now, and it's a Cajun filet with pimento cheese. I always get the Cajun filet with pimento.
Oh, you jumped in on the pimento cheese thing?
I love their pimento. Yeah. I'm a big fan of their pimento. I've not had a sausage biscuit with pimento, though, which I am a little intrigued by. I've never had sausage and pimento cheese.
Not much different than hamburger. Speaking of, let me get a little bit more drink.
Sure,
I don't think it's much different, but a sausage biscuit. I get a sausage biscuit pretty much everywhere I go.
I don't know. I don't know about the steak biscuit. I really think it's Cajun. That's what they're known for. They're chicken place first and foremost. Does anyone else get the steak biscuit though? Because I actually do love their steak biscuits, and I've gotten some strange reactions from people when I say that I like the steak biscuit. Are we sure these are opt-outs or COVID related? Mississippi State doesn't really even have that many pros on their team. All right, I've gotten 2 texts about the Matrix now. Kentucky Joe, I'll censor his real quick. Sincerely, do something else with your 2.5 hours. Was never a big fan of the franchise, but thought they were cool/good. The last one sucks. I mean, it's awful. Never been more disappointed in such a bleep ending to a franchise. I feel they should give refunds. That's how bad it was. You've been warned. And then David just said, the new Matrix sucks, but use your judgment. Go Gamecocks. Appreciate that. Okay, good. Glad I'm not the only one. Did you guys try did anybody try, what was it called? The Potato Bowl? Has anyone else tried that? Or was I the only person that had that? Because it was only on the menu for like a couple months or maybe a year, but it was absolutely unbelievable. It was so good. Anthony, did you see it? Someone on the live stream said that they didn't like it. I can't remember. I think it was Waddy said they didn't like it. Maybe it was Kelly.
Thank you. Yeah, we got new vest. It is a very nice vest.
Right.
I said, love the vest. Yeah, it's good. Although I feel like I kind of blend in with the sign here with the matching back. I feel like I'm just part of the sign.
Yeah. The vests were a Christmas gift from Tammy.
We got some biscuits on the way. Biscuits and bow rounds.
What kind?
Yeah. Well, he I don't know if that's the guy you're talking about. He's over there. He's got the corporate shirt on. Okay, but yeah, he's getting us a couple biscuits.
Yeah, the bow rounds are also outstanding.
Huh? Nah. I kind of do like it. I mean, but you're right. It's something I feel more comfortable. You should see the other two shirts we got. Yeah, I got T-shirts that we had a long time ago. I'll wear those, and I left both of them at the house. I got a black one and a dark one, and I'll wear those. But yeah, tomorrow. Given this is the only thing I have it.
Never had the steak and egg. I've had just the steak biscuit. Never the steak and egg.
Oh, that's right. Y'all had that big discussion about what is it? Did you call it the potato bowl? Is that?
Yeah. It was so good. Just okay on the Matrix. That's what I've gotten for the first 30 minutes. The first scene is the first scene from the very first movie. So I think they're going to try and make it deja vu or kind of tribute to the first one, but we'll see.
Three breaks this hour?
Yeah.
I still got to figure out that QC Kinetics thing, the phone number.
Smoked sausage, Craig. Never had smoked sausage over there.
They do have, I mean, yeah, I think it's one of those things where you can get in a rut here.
Does anyone else get pimento every time they go to Bojangles now, though? Because I absolutely do. No sauce or anything, just Cajun filet pimento with pimento.
That pimento cheese, I got it. Okay, I got it. Good. All right, cool.
I remember when they rolled out the pimento cheese because Joe Pollock came in and brought us a box of basically every different sandwich they had with pimento on it.
They all had that pimento cheese on it. Yeah. I need to find a good place to go watch I think I'm going to go back after this and take a little nap. I didn't sleep all that well last night. Pillows were too soft. The hotel pillows were, I think they had 2 feathers in them.
All right, we're coming back.
We're back.
Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Welcome to the early game. 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunter and Patrick Perrette.
Why don't we start with someone more interesting?
And producer extraordinaire, Jen Jensen. It's time for the early game, where the bacon is always prepared properly.
My Grand Slam was supposed to be with sausage.
On 107.5 The Game.
Oh, so many hot topics this morning. Patrick, I don't know if we have enough time, and we still have 2 hours, and I don't know if we have
really
enough time.
It's actually starting to stress me out. There's too much to talk about because I forgot that it's our last show before the college football playoff.
Well,
and we didn't even touch on John Madden. We're probably
you're
the only
right.
sports show in America. Maybe it's just a college football market thing, but we're probably one of the only sports shows in America that went a whole hour without talking about John Madden.
I did bring it up. I did at least mention John Madden in the opener and the impact that he had on football as a whole. It's kind of crazy the incredible impact he had. But, yeah, we need to get into that. We need to continue discussing. I do want to talk a little bit about the Clemson Bowl game because of what we're going to see from the new coordinators. Obviously, South Carolina and North Carolina, we need to talk about that. We need to talk about the college football playoff as a whole, since this will do it for you and I here in 2021. And the next time you and I reconvene,
it's just all the good bowl games are coming up right now. Like, there's actually intriguing games all over the place. Oklahoma, Oregon, 2 new coaches. What are we going to do there?
Yeah.
Tennessee, Purdue is an interesting game. Music City Bowl. Like, there's a lot of interesting stuff. Arkansas, Penn State's a cool matchup. Iowa, Kentucky is a good matchup. Man, there's too much.
Yeah, there's a lot, and on top of that, somehow, some way, we have spawned 2 other conversations, non-sports related. One is, I don't feel like we were talking about Patrick and how he's watching the new Matrix in 15-minute intervals, basically on HBO Max. And it doesn't appear, Patrick, I think you would agree with me on our Cool Care Heating and Air text line, that the new Matrix is getting good reviews from our listeners.
No, not on this show so far.
Yeah. That's a lot of people just telling you that good luck with that, with your matrix viewing. The other question we have, because I am up here in Charlotte this morning, Tommy Moody will be here from 12 to 4. Heath Klein will be here from 4 to 7. Where are we at, you ask? We are at 1402 West Trade Street here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are not too far away from Bank of America Stadium as we get you ready for the Gamecocks and the Tar Heels tomorrow morning, 11:30 a.m. Again, we'll be here at this Bojangles, 1402 West Trade Street. Beautiful Bojangles we're at here, and they're going to be bringing some biscuits down for me here in just a short little while. But you can stop by and visit us throughout the day. Tommy Moody will be here from 12 to 4, Heath Klein from 4 to 7. So if you're coming up today, if you're heading up this way for the bowl game, should be a fun night, Patrick. There's a little event going on down the road at Ink and Ivy, a Gamecock Club event that I'm looking forward to attending and hanging out and mingling amongst Gamecock fans. But if you're coming up today, come on by 1402 West Trade Street here in Charlotte. Again, I'll be here till 9 a.m., but after that, Tommy Moody from 12 to 4. Heath Klein from 4 to 7. So you can come by, get yourself some biscuits or some sandwiches, some fried chicken, some of that dirty rice. Terry Ford is over here. You'll be hearing more from him on our station in the coming weeks. And I don't think he's ever had Bojangles. He was raving about the French fries, the fries. I don't even know if we call them seasoned fries. So yeah, it's brand new for him.
Wait,
it's a good time.
You saying bow rounds or fries?
Fries. He had never had the fries.
He's having them at 6 a.m.?
We might just have some. We haven't ordered any yet.
Their sides are actually awesome because that's always the debate for me is do I want fries or dirty rice?
Their sides are quite delicious. So come on by, stop by today and hang out. Again, I'll be here till 9 a.m. Now, again, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, so don't go searching for us in Columbia. We're in Charlotte at 1402 West Trade Street. And again, Heath will be up here 4 to 7, Tommy Moody 12 to 4. So you can come see some of the other 107.5 The Game people here today. One other thing coming up in about 10 minutes, Patrick, probably about 15 minutes, 7:20 this morning, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to tomorrow's ball game between the Gamecocks and the Tar Heels. So if you're listening now, hold on for about 14 more minutes, and we will get to that and give you a chance to win tickets. 803-404-6100 is how you can reach us via the Cool Care Heating and Air text line or the Love Chevy phone lines. Patrick, do we still have callers?
We got Scott and David.
Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone line. Scott is up first, waiting patiently. Scott, appreciate you holding there through the break. How you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
Hey guys, good morning. I'll sprinkle a little bit on all and jump off and listen to your thoughts. But as far as biscuits, they're all good there at Bojangles. But a steak, egg, and cheese seems to be the go-to for me there. There at the Bojangles. Also, John Madden. I know you guys are always going to remember the backside of his career, but I know as a middle-aged man, nothing beat what he did with the Raiders, and just thinking about Jack Tatum today and Lyle Alzado and the defenses that guy made and the old NFL films where they'd come out talking about that raid. And it was just awesome. And he was a fantastic coach above and beyond all the other stuff. But definitely RIP to him. As far as the bowl games, man, I tell you, it's interesting to see, 0-4 for the SEC. It's not the norm. We're used to seeing them go out there and slap those teams around. But I think it also shows a lot, especially Mississippi State. I wanted to see that football game. This was a team that stayed ranked late in the year, where you had an SMU team and a Cincinnati team that was getting kind of no love for their schedule, and an SEC team or an SEC conference that always seems to keep Mississippi State, Auburn, all these teams ranked towards the end to say our strength of schedule strong. I'm not so sure with what Auburn finished the season with, and especially that Mississippi State game, they got slapped by Texas Tech. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
You too, Scott. Yeah, thanks for the phone call. Yeah, I mean, we'll get more into this. The South Carolina or the SEC 0-4, 0-4 start in bowl games, and Patrick, we kind of hit on that a little bit in hour number one. It is something that you pay attention to now. Florida's going through a coaching change, and I think there was a lot of turmoil down there. I think Florida's going to be, again, another very interesting team, much like Auburn when we get to 2022. But they're going through a coaching change. Missouri, I don't know what to make of Missouri. Heath Klein has been very, I don't want to say anti-Missouri, but Heath has really led the drumbeat there that what Eli Drinkowitz did in the COVID year should not really be paid as much attention to as maybe what it was. He's pointed out multiple times that Missouri kind of benefited from a back half of the schedule. South Carolina was one of those teams in 2020 that wasn't very good, and Missouri, quite frankly, kind of got to a place that maybe they shouldn't have been because of a weak schedule in the back half of that schedule in 2020. And now you see their season where it was very up and down. Now you got Connor Bazelak transferring, but they lose that game to Army. Auburn again. How many years do you give Brian Harsin in Auburn? Is next year's you feel like if he doesn't win 8 or 9 games next year, they might just go ahead and make a move. Auburn's kind of crazy that way.
I mean, I don't know about 8 or 9, but yeah, if you're a 500 team or worse next year, I think he's gone. Auburn can certainly not accept 2 losing seasons in a row. That'll be it. I would be if they go 6-6 and lose a bowl game next year, if they go 6-6, I don't think he's coaching in a bowl game.
It does feel like we all questioned when he was hired coming from Boise and the cultural fit and being in the SEC. I think it's something that we're also kind of looking at Brian Kelly, right? At least Brian Kelly's got a track record and he's coached at a massive program in Notre Dame and has done some really big things going to college football playoffs. But it is kind of the same thing with the Brian Kelly cultural fit down in Baton Rouge, right? It's just he's got a resume that at least lends you to say, hey, he can get things done.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's the fact that Brian Kelly is trying to be a cultural fit. That's the weird part right now, because I think LSU fans would have accepted if Brian Kelly just came and was the same Brian Kelly he was at Notre Dame and said it doesn't matter what's going to work here. But now he's trying to be the weird guy that's trying to fit in to a culture he doesn't understand, and it's just coming off really bad and really awkward. So I don't even think that the problem was that he isn't a cultural fit. I think it's just that he's attempting to be.
It'll be interesting to see, but look, you can't gloss over the SEC 0-4 right off the bat in bowl games, and then last night, just Mike Leach and Mississippi State, they were down 16 players, but Patrick, I think COVID. I don't think we're always going to have the issues with the COVID that we have had with players missing bowl games, but players opting out, players missing bowl games is now part of the new norm. And look at South Carolina. South Carolina, for example, tomorrow afternoon, they'll play this game. And I think my numbers were correct on this. 6 guys, I believe, maybe 7, are in the transfer portal. 2 have opted out because of, or 2 have opted out. Enigbare, I count Jason Brown in the transfer portal. Enigbare and Zaquandre White have opted out. And then you have multiple guys who have season-ending injuries. Luke Doty, Rick Sandage, Dylan Wanham comes to mind. There are injuries. So when you do the numbers on that, South Carolina goes to this bowl game, 85 scholarship players instantly now is much closer to 70. And then you get any COVID players that are out. I'll throw in 2 other guys who are suspended, by the way. South Carolina is down under 70 scholarship players going into tomorrow's game before any guys end up in some kind of protocol.
Yeah, it affects you, but I still don't think. I mean, you really still can't make excuses. It's a reason, but it's not an excuse for just a poor performance. In Mississippi State, maybe that all the players missing on defense is why Texas Tech was able to score 34 points. But, I mean, you've got your starting quarterback. You've got a couple of your top receivers still. That was just an ugly performance. And I think this is just another example to me of why Mike Leach is just a boom or bust type of guy week to week, because the air raid offense, if you've got a good game plan for it and can shut it down, there's just nothing they can do. And Mike Leach is so stubborn that he's never going to change his game plan. Like, there's games where you'll just drop 3 guys or rush 3 guys, drop everyone into coverage, and he'll just continuously keep throwing it into double coverage all day long because that's all he does. He doesn't believe in running the football. Will Rogers attempted 53 passes. They ran the ball 14 times. Yeah. I mean, that's just not a ratio that's ever going to be successful. You can't be that stubborn. So that's where I'm kind of anti Mike Leach. I think he's interesting and fun for college football, but a couple years ago, I was all on board hiring Mike Leach because I thought it would have been a lot of fun for the radio. I'm glad they did not. I'm glad he wasn't even discussed because I would be driven crazy by Mike Leach week to week.
The funny part last night was I don't know if you call it the beginning of the game, and they their first 17 plays, they threw it 16 times. Well, that's Mike Leach football, right? Like that's what you just said. That's part of their. However, the announcers, and I had the game kind of on in the background. I was kind of doing a few other things. I was eating a little bit. I was trying to read a little bit and kind of catch up on some things, prepare for today's show. But the announcers were amazed because at one point they're like, wow, 17 plays and they've only run it one time. I was like, you guys do any research on who Mike Leach is and what Mississippi State does? Like, they were totally amazed that through 17 plays, it was a 16 pass, 1 run ratio.
It was Deuce McAllister, right?
It was Deuce McAllister, yes. And you would think he would know. He had just had, I think, Mississippi and Mississippi State a few weeks ago. So kind of funny to watch that last night. Let's touch real quick here because it is a big national story. John Madden, the passing, 85 years old, passes away. It was kind of caught me off guard because just the other day, I don't remember where it's going to be. Maybe the Peacock Network, maybe on HBO, Patrick.
Yeah, the documentary.
The documentary's coming on.
I think it is on Peacock. It's supposed to come out January 3rd, and they're releasing it at midnight.
Yeah, and it's the first time in like 10 or 15 years he sat down for kind of an exclusive one-on-one interview and really talked about things.
He didn't look good, though. In pictures I've seen of him, he didn't look healthy.
Yeah, but the way and Scott is right about the way that Madden has influenced football, and he's right. You're younger than me. I don't have a recollection of John Madden coaching. I know him as an announcer, and I know him more. And this is sad. I know him more as a video game.
Well, I think
not that he was the one that was doing it, but you get the point.
No, but that's why. I mean, that's what most people under the age of 30 remember him as, and not just we know who John Madden is and was because we're sports fans, but the name is synonymous with the football video game. I mean, it's the only NFL. It's really the only since college football was discontinued or whatever. It's the only football video game, and that's how millions of people have been introduced. And that's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the name Madden or just the word Madden. Your first thought is a video game, not the person, because the game is so big. I mean, it's probably sold 1 billion copies. I don't know how many Maddens there have been at this point, probably like 25 or more. But that is his lasting legacy more so than anything else because Madden games will be around forever. And I heard people say that because of that, he's the most impactful person in the sport of football ever. And I would probably agree with that.
It's an interesting way to put it. I think it was Sega Genesis. I think I had the first, or if not the first, one of the first Madden games that ever came out that was very entertaining.
Yeah.
So,
and by the way, I don't even remember him.
Okay. I gotta here. We'll put this on the live stream real quick. A nice guy has joined me, and he's written on his bag, "Go Heels." So he's paying attention this morning.
Boy.
So, I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much. Oh, Scott. Oh, okay. You're not the one that just called. Okay, the Scott that just called has now stopped by the.
That's funny.
That's my go-tos: two steak, egg, and cheese, 2 chickens, and 2 burgers for you guys. Enjoy.
I appreciate it, Scott. Thank you. Good to see you again. Take care. Scott Tarhizzle, who was just on the phone line to start the segment, will wrap up the segment by stopping by and dropping us off 2 steak and eggs, some chicken sandwiches, some bow rounds. So we got a whole bit on the bag. He did right. Go Heels.
Yeah. Bring the other half to me on Monday, Bill.
Other half comes to you on Monday. There you go. That blocks me out. There you see the Bojangles. We will continue on here. We will get a little bit more into the bowl games, get back out to the Love Chevy phone lines as well. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
More of the early game coming up on 107.5 The Game.
And from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality, shepherdsglass.com. Right now, no incidents to report in the Midlands. It is 64 degrees in Columbia. Again, going to be a high of 75 today.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Dreams are amazing, but wake up in time to have Taco Bell's toasted breakfast burritos with eggs.
The airport tomorrow morning, so I was like, well, if I'm going to stop, I might as well stop today and buy that breakfast.
Well, I appreciate it.
We do appreciate that.
He's never had
these, man. That's why I figured out. You know what? I'll make a plethora of it. Try all of it. That's my go-to when I go.
Very nice.
We'll do it.
Very nice. Oh, trust me, we'll kill it.
And I was gonna make some predictions, but last time Gamecock Larry cost me $100 to go.
Yeah. I would just stay away from it.
Stay away from that. Stay away from that.
That's not that hurt.
Good deal.
Hey, thanks. Have a good New Year. Okay.
See you
All right, you too.
We'll be up to see it. I'll follow you screaming coming through.
We'll hear from you on Monday, on the 3rd.
Hey,
Good
man.
seeing you, Seth.
Thank
Take care.
you. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We're loaded up there, brother.
Yeah, he's got it.
He got some too?
Yeah, I
got some napkins in here.
We get multiple napkins.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's good. Not cold. That is good, man. So, I won't eat anything the rest of the day.
No. I mean,
I don't like this.
Cajun filet now.
That's what I should. I give that a whirl.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we were saying. That's kind of their specialty.
Oh, I'm about to go back across. I'm gonna spend the rest of the day in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a heads up. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Steak biscuit. I have a steak biscuit. What is this one? We'll have to eat. Patrick, we still have Ronnie on the phone?
We never had a Ronnie. We have David though.
David, okay.
I love bow rounds. I do
No,
love bow rounds.
Patrick's back in the studio. We can't just.
Yeah, I'm not liking this.
Oh, I agree. That's good.
Yep, that's
That's good, man.
a staple.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not watching that. We don't do that. We don't do that, Anthony. No, we appreciate that. You did bring him food too. I don't think Scott realized he's getting the food for free, but yeah, I appreciate that, Chuck. I really might just go get some after this. I did have a biscuit this morning though, because there's a gas station on my way home from work that has unbelievable breakfast sandwiches. It's just fried steak, Craig. I don't know what kind of steak it is, but it is. It is good. See, yeah, I think Bill and I even are two different levels of John Madden remembering, because Scott said you don't remember as a coach. I don't remember as a coach, and I don't remember him with Pat Summerall either. Like, I'm too young to remember the Pat Summerall duo. I remember John Madden as Sunday Night Football with Al Michaels, and that's it. That's the only John Madden I got to see. I think I looked it up. He ended with Summerall in 2002, and I do not remember any football from 2002 really. I mean, Monday Night Football, and I do feel like I have very vague memories of him on Monday Night Football, but mostly I just remember Al and John on Sunday night.
Biscuits are ridiculous.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. All right, we're back.
30 seconds.
Oh, no, we're
still trying to clip.
That dude Tar Heel Scott?
Tar Hizzle.
Huh?
Tar Hizzle.
Tar Hizzle?
He's been a long time listener. Yeah,
I'm gonna pull up. post up on that. Yeah.
Good dude. Real good dude. He's called in a couple times and lost some bets, and he'll donate. He'll
Oh, that's the guy.
yeah.
I got one of those Cajuns. That's all I do.
No, I'm still checking that out.
I probably should have cut this one in half.
All right, Patrick. So we got David. Did you say David?
Yeah.
Back.
We are back.
Why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
All right, Bill, should I just bring
I'm
it back
sorry.
since you're still chewing? 803-404-6100. That's our number. Cool Care Heating and Air text lines. Love Chevrolet phone lines. It takes Bill underestimated the amount of time it takes to chew a biscuit.
Yeah, Cajun filet.
That's
Cajun
happened to
filet.
everybody, though. You start chewing a biscuit, and then you realize this takes a long time. The biscuits are they're dry and they're difficult to chew.
Yeah, got a Mountain Dew.
And then you
next
didn't
to
take
it,
a
too.
sip of your drink after your biscuit. It's gonna be a couple seconds. Bill's gonna realize he needs to take a sip of your drink because you can't just not wash down a biscuit.
I am a professional, Patrick. I'll be okay through this segment. Let's go ahead real quick and give away those. Tell you what, Patrick. Let's do two things here at one time.
All right.
Let's get out to David on the Love Chevy phone lines, and then let's also go ahead and give away those 2 tickets to the South Carolina North Carolina game tomorrow. Bank of America Stadium. You can win 2 tickets right now, Patrick. You can take whatever caller you feel like there. You pick it, but let's go ahead and put David, who's been waiting patiently on the Love Chevy. Caller 5. Call in now, and let's get out to David on the Love Chevy phone lines. David, how you doing this morning? What's on your mind?
I'm doing well. Being an older guy, Madden and Summerall been my favorite team to call games. The question I had was, where can the average fan go to find out who all is in the transfer portal? Appreciate it and hope y'all have a good new year. Thank you.
Appreciate the phone call, David. Yeah, you can go. Actually, we always use. I'm sure there are other places but I've always used 24/7 Sports. If you go to 24/7 Sports, if you go under their football recruiting tab, and you go to there is a link to the transfer portal, and that'll usually tell. And you can break it down by school. You can break it down by position. You can break it down by status, year. You got all kinds of things there that you can look at. But if you go to 247sports.com, you can go to your NCAA football home, and there's a way there, a tab that you can look at, and you can kind of keep up with the transfer portal. So that's usually the best way. I'm sure I'm sure Rivals has one as well. I'm just not as familiar with the Rivals message board there, or how they use the transfer portal. But if you want to check out the exact portal, you can go to 24/7 Sports, and they have a specific area there where you can go and monitor and follow up on the transfer portal. 803-404-6100. We got a winner, Patrick?
Yeah, we got Douglas. Douglas is our winner. So
congratulations.
Sorry, the phone lines, absolutely lit up for this. So sorry, everybody. I cannot answer all the calls, but Douglas did win.
Yeah.
He was calling.
Congratulations to Douglas. We'll try and give away 2 more tickets in the 8 o'clock hour as well. Congratulations to Douglas on that. Patrick, it'll be interesting tomorrow to see. It's a short trip up for Gamecock fans. If you're coming from Columbia, if you're coming from Greenville, you can make it a day trip. You can leave in the morning. You can get up here. Heath Klein and myself will be here at 1402 West Trade Street at this Bojangles tomorrow morning doing the pregame show. So if you want to come by and pick up your tailgate package of biscuits, or if you're going to do the sausage, if you're going to do fried chicken at 10 a.m. in the morning, you're more than welcome to come and get that as also. But Patrick, what kind of turnout do you expect from South Carolina fans? Because as we talk about the opt-outs, as we talk about transfers, and you talk about injuries and everything going on, when you get the overhead shot tomorrow of Bank of America Stadium, how much garnet and black do you expect to see in the stadium?
I expect to see more than North Carolina blue, but I don't know that I expect it to be like packed. I mean, what's the What's the did we know what the attendance for the Belk Bowl was a couple years ago? I mean, I think it'll be better than that, but not substantially. I don't know. I just don't feel like 11:30 a.m. on a Thursday. We've been to Charlotte a bunch of times. I don't know. That's what's going through my head. It's just I don't care to go see South Carolina play at Bank of America Stadium again. I'd rather just watch it on TV and be comfortable in my house at 11:30 in the morning and not wake up at 7 to drive up there. But from what I'm sensing, there is just a lot more excitement. I think it's just the Beamer factor and the atmosphere that he's created. So I could be wrong. It could be just a phenomenal turnout, but I wouldn't expect close to a sellout or anything along those lines on Thursday afternoon. I mean, I wouldn't expect 40,000 people there.
No, I'm just interested to see what the turnout is. I've been to bowl games. Even I think for the Virginia game, there was a level of excitement for that game. It was a different ACC opponent when you're talking about the Cavaliers. South Carolina had not played them since 2003, I believe, was the year. So you'd had a 16-year gap there. And again, big difference there. North Carolina, you've seen. Did you read? I don't know if you caught the article that came out, I believe, last week. Chris Smelly was a part of it, and it talked about the 2007 game up in Chapel Hill. And I was at that game. South Carolina got out to a 21-3 lead, Patrick. The Gamecocks were ranked number 7 nationally. North Carolina was kind of struggling, and South Carolina got out to a 21-3 lead and had to hold on for dear life. There was a Hail Mary into the end zone at the very end of the game. And that was the first time South Carolina and North Carolina had played in I think it was like 18 or 19 years. And there was a lot of excitement for it. Now you've seen them play more since 2013, and I don't know if this should be a yearly rivalry, an every other year rivalry. I don't know where South Carolina fans stand when it comes to playing North Carolina.
I personally just don't want to use an out-of-conference game on North Carolina every year because I don't care that much about them. I want to use – I mean, if it's that or Eastern Illinois, then okay, I guess I'd rather play North Carolina. But like we've said a bunch of times, I'd rather just play out-of-conference games against cool teams that we've never been to. I want to play Virginia Tech. I want to play West Virginia. I want to play those regional type of teams that we could make a drive up to and see a new school. So I don't care that much about UNC. But by the way, I'm seeing the reported attendance from the 18 Belk Bowl as 48,000. Is that right? That's so much higher than I would have expected.
Probably tickets sold, I would think.
There's no way there. Almost 50,000 people in that stadium.
There was a good crowd. It was an early game as well. I don't remember the exact day of the game.
It was December 29th.
What was that? Was that a Saturday, Friday, a Tuesday? Yeah. Again, yeah. I think the other part about that, and maybe people are down on this particular rivalry.
It was a Saturday. Though, yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go then. People are maybe down on this rivalry, Patrick, a little bit, because you haven't gotten the home and home games. You had the one game in Columbia in 2013 in which South Carolina, I think it was a rain delay as well. Larry Fedora came in and South Carolina was really kind of at their peak, and the Gamecocks got the best of the Tar Heels. And you had the other game in Chapel Hill in 2007. But I wonder if people would like this series a little bit more if it was a traditional home and home. I think people like me have gotten – and maybe I'm wrong. You've seen South Carolina, the novelty of playing in Bank of America Stadium maybe has worn off a little bit when you've seen North Carolina in 2015. You saw NC State in, was it 2018? Does that seem right? 2018, I believe, is right. Maybe 2017, 2018. You saw North Carolina. I think it was 2015, 2017, 2019. So you made 3 regular season appearances at Bank of America Stadium. Throw in the Belk Bowl, that's a 4th. In 2019, and then on top of that, that was 2018, and then on top of that, you've got another one, not next year, but in 2023, South Carolina and North Carolina will meet again up here in Charlotte to open the regular season. I think it's the games in Charlotte that have soured people on this rivalry, because there's a lot of older fans, Patrick, who absolutely despise North Carolina.
Yeah, and I also wonder if there's a level to which the Panther Stadium is not substantially cooler than anything. Like it's not even that, it's not even really cooler than Williams-Brice. I mean, the atmosphere obviously doesn't even come close, but it's this glamorous NFL stadium. Like that's not really what Bank of America is. I can't imagine that fans, college football fans in Dallas or Texas A&M fans get sick of going to play at Jerry's World. Like I think that probably just feels different because everything in that stadium just feels grand and incredible because it's that type of stadium. I think going to the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta probably never gets old for Georgia Tech or Georgia fans playing in the SEC championship. Like, Bank of America is just not that. It's an outdoor game at 11:30 in a stadium that's nice, but there's really nothing special about it.
Well, and 3 of those games being in maybe August or the first Saturday in September have been sweltering hot.
Yeah.
I mean, they've just been unbearable hot, and I don't think that helps the cause either. You talk about going to Jerry World or going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium there in Atlanta. At least you got maybe if it's really hot, you can close the roof or whatever. You got the air conditioning, it feels great. And you're right. Those stadiums, I have never been to Jerry World. I did get a really cool tour of Mercedes-Benz Stadium there when it first opened, and phenomenal stadium. We'll continue talking about this. We'll continue to we'll get into some college football playoff picks. We got to do that in the third hour. We'll continue talking a little bit about John Madden, the impact he's had on the sport, and then last night's bowl games as well as today's bowl games. Clemson and Iowa State, 5:45 today in the Cheez-It Bowl. Also, Patrick's, are you kind of fired up? Maryland, Virginia Tech, 2:15 today.
I'm intrigued by it. I'm interested. Yeah.
We'll get Patrick's take on that one. You got another full day of bowl games. We'll get into those as well. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
This is South Carolina head women's basketball coach Dawn Staley, and you're listening to the home of the Gamecocks, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Man, we're just don't have enough time to talk about all these bowl games that I want to talk about.
This one you're definitely gonna have to cut.
Let's cut in half. Absolutely. Yeah,
I would imagine.
So we will have a show before the bowl.
Yeah.
I'm getting him out of here until he comes back.
I can't do that. The other half is all yours.
There's going to be a nap in the third hour.
I'm telling you. I'll take this side here. You can have this side. Here you go,
There's your steak, Craig. That's what it is. Like a fried steak, like a country fried steak. That is the country fried steak there. Well, we got plenty.
Man. All right. Does anyone have any bold predictions for the college football playoff? Because I mean, we really are. This is our last chance really to talk about it. We've only got an hour left. It is very much a bummer because today's a good slate of bowl games. I always like the there's Bill's back. I mean, I'm just gonna take you off the screen whenever you're not talking, Bill.
Well, I'm not talking. I'm eating, but yeah.
Because you have background noise.
Oh, do we?
So, if all we're gonna see is just eating.
I'm gonna move it over there when we start the segment because it's down to 12% on the iPad. Let it charge.
It's gonna have to be a very short segment.
Yeah, I saw that as we were talking there. Here, I'm going to move this for a second.
I mean, we can go. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we can go 8 minutes. I don't know. Man, it's gonna be hard to. It's a lot to sleep through today if I'm gonna be asleep all day. Virginia Tech, Maryland, Clemson, Iowa State, Oklahoma, Oregon are all games that I'm intrigued by. I would say lose by 30. Kind of easily, right? Would anybody be surprised if Alabama won that game 42 to 10?
You talking about the Cincinnati game?
Yeah.
No, I mean, nobody would be shocked if Alabama just beats them into oblivion, right?
Definitely not. Is everyone pulling for that? Because, I don't know, that's interesting because we talked about the SEC fans potentially being embarrassed by going 0-4. Alabama's your crown jewel. Do you need Alabama to just throttle Cincinnati, or would it be embarrassing to the conference if Cincinnati keeps it close? I think everybody knows how good Alabama is, and Alabama does get the respect, so maybe it would just be more of a credit to Cincinnati if they can keep it close. I don't know. Bill, we're back, though.
We're back? Okay.
All right, we have mowed through multiple biscuits up here and enjoying ourselves. Patrick Fred is unfortunately back in studio, and I do feel bad because on the Buford Lending live stream, I've knocked out half of a Cajun filet biscuit, most of a sausage biscuit. We've got a steak, egg, and cheese that our buddy Scott brought to us. So, Patrick, we are just unfortunately there's more bow rounds than you can shake a stick at up here right now. There is a lot, so I apologize that on the live stream you were having to watch that, but it's a nice time. We will be up here throughout the day. I'll be up here for another hour and 20 minutes, and then I will return to the hotel where I will need a nap after what I've just done with all this food. But Tommy Moody will be here from 12 to 4 today. You can catch Tommy right here. We are at 1402 West Trade Street in Charlotte. We're getting you ready for South Carolina and North Carolina, Patrick. But there are other bowl games today that we've got to get into, and it starts at 2:15. Maryland and Virginia Tech, the Pinstripe Bowl. Oh, the famous Pinstripe Bowl. And you kind of are intrigued by this one. Mike Locksley now is Mike Locksley, as we sit here on December 29th at 7:42, the most disliked person by South Carolina fans right now because of what just happened with Jayshon Barham and then Jacob Copeland going there and Ramon Brown flipping from Virginia Tech to Maryland. Is Locksley the most disliked person right now by South Carolina faithful?
I mean, definitely not me. I like Mike Locksley, but do people care that much still? I don't know. I think people think Jayshon Barham is immature and his mom had a lot to do with that, and it just is what it is. I don't know. Are we holding it against Mike Locksley? I really have no idea. I don't care at all. I grew up a Maryland fan. Everyone in my family went to Maryland. All my cousins and my dad went to Maryland, so I like Maryland, but I'm not really affected by the Barham thing. I haven't heard anyone talking about it. I think it was just another, okay, that's a kid being immature, and it is what it is, but that's recruiting for you. We were upset on signing day. I haven't heard anybody talk about it since.
Well, I don't think that people were that upset until there was the video that got put out by the Maryland football, I don't know, media
Twitter
team.
account, yeah.
Yeah, of Locksley.
They deleted it, by the way.
Yeah, they did. They after Shane Beer, they ended up deleting it. And but I think everybody was kind of okay until that video surfaced, and then people got pretty upset. Also, I've seen some tweets out there with I guess moderators of the Maryland message boards. I think it's on the 24/7 site who have taken some shots at South Carolina, which have not made Gamecock fans happy. But that'll be your 2:15 game today. Maryland and Virginia Tech, the Pinstripe Bowl. Over-unders right now 55. The line is Maryland minus 3.5. Patrick, I kind of like Maryland, don't you? Is that your little?
Kind of. I mean, Maryland, yeah. I mean, I guess so. Their best player, Dante Demas, had a gruesome injury a couple months ago at this point, so they're not going to have him. But Solly Tagovailoa has actually been playing pretty well. I'm just mostly intrigued because one, I like Maryland, and two, I like watching bowl games like that. I like the games in baseball stadiums. I just find them to be cool and fun and unique rather than just watching a game be played in an empty NFL stadium in Florida or something like that. So that's what I like about bowl season. I'm bummed that the Fenway Bowl was supposed to be played today. It was supposed to be a game in Fenway and then immediately followed by Yankee Stadium. That would have been a lot of fun and just cool for college football. So I'm more intrigued by just the atmosphere. But yeah, I mean, I guess I like Maryland. Virginia Tech's just a bad football team. So
that game you mentioned, SMU was supposed to play Virginia in the Fenway Bowl today. That was postponed. I guess what today is Wednesday. I guess it was postponed over the weekend, if I'm thinking correctly there, Patrick.
I think you're right.
Tonight, you mentioned, I don't know. I don't know how much I get into this. Oklahoma and Oregon tonight, both now with interim head coaches. I really do not know who's coaching Oklahoma tonight. I have zero clue who is coaching Oklahoma, and quite frankly, I guess I have no clue who's coaching Oregon at this point as well. What we do know is both have new head coaches. Dan Lanning will be the new head coach at Oregon. Obviously, some guy from Clemson that we were all very familiar with is taking the head job at Oklahoma. 9:15 tonight, ESPN. Oklahoma's -6.5, over under 60.5. I guess you're interested to see Caleb Williams. Patrick it appears at this moment, is going to stick around Oklahoma and play for Venables and play for Jeff Lebby. What are you watching in that game? Because you said that's the one that intrigues you tonight. Just because of the coaching situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that the football game itself, but everything surrounding it, just two name brand programs with new head coaches this year is going to be interesting. Brian McClendon coaching Oregon as a head coach, interim head coach, is going to be interesting. I mean, it's just the storylines around the game are interesting. I'm intrigued by teams in bowl games that have interim head coaches almost always. It's just kind of a funny scene. So I don't know. Is Dan Lanning? I know he's coaching the semifinal. He's going to coach in the college football playoff final if Georgia wins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
He wouldn't. I'd say this. I would assume he wouldn't dare leave
during the national championship.
During. I mean, if you're going to stick it out, why would you not stick it out for 9 more days essentially, or I guess 10 more days? They play the 31st to coach in the national championship game. So yeah, Dan Lanning. I was reading an article the other day. You know how coaches are. We see this. Kirby Smart did it a few years ago for Alabama and Georgia. You hear this kind of stuff, pulling double duty, leading a double life, whatever the sensationalist columnist wants to call it. But Dan Lanning preparing for Michigan during the day and recruiting for Oregon at night, all kind of a weird thing. But that game tonight, again, it opened as Oklahoma as a 4-point favorite. It's up to 6.5 now, over under 60. And a half. The other game today, Patrick, actually very entertaining to me. 5:45. I will find a good place here in Charlotte to hunker down and watch these new coordinators for Clemson. And as they say, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. It's a good time to keep one of our enemies here and keep a good eye on Clemson and what exactly Brandon Streeter is going to bring to the offensive system. What calls you see him make. It's not like a brand new offensive coordinator. He's been around the system. He's familiar with the personnel. And then on the other side, Mickey Kahn and Wes Goodwin, the analyst turned defensive coordinator. It's a strange situation to me. I got a feeling, Patrick, you would agree. We would agree. If South Carolina lost their defensive coordinator and promoted an analyst, I mean, people were upset that Shane Beamer had never been a position coach and got the head coaching job. If South Carolina promoted an analyst to be their defensive coordinator, a guy who's not an on-the-field position, Clemson fans will be having a field day with that, right?
Probably so, but South Carolina, it depends. It just depends who's making the hire, because South Carolina fans would accept anything Shane Beamer does right now, just like Clemson fans will accept anything Dabo Swinney will do, because he's earned that right, because he's built one of the most dominant programs of college football right now. So, I mean, yeah, but when you're that successful, when you promote an analyst who is part of a national championship winning staff, that's a little bit different.
It'll be interesting. I'm very.
By the way, did you ask who's coaching Oklahoma tonight? I guess I missed you posing that.
I didn't know who was. I didn't ask. Do you know?
It's Bob Stoops.
That's right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got a couple texts about it. I didn't even hear you say that. But yeah, Bob Stoops.
That's why I didn't remember, is because they named him basically the head bowl coach the bowl coach right after Lincoln Riley left, and so there was never any debate. I totally forgot about that. That makes it actually a little bit more intriguing for me to tune in and watch a little bit tonight.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You.
Cool.
Totally.
Good way to end the segment there.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll talk more about that Clemson-Iowa State game. We'll get back into South Carolina and North Carolina, and we got to make some college football playoff predictions in hour number 3. We got a lot we still got to do, Patrick. I'm sure I've missed other things. We'll discuss that off air on the Buford Lending live stream. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game is omnipresent and free of charge. Free of charge. In your car. Free of charge. Online. Free of charge. On the app and streaming on your smart speaker. Free of charge. 107.5 The Game.
And for the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center, Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality, shepherdsglass.com. Just one accident in the Midlands right now. It's going to be in Lexington on Hyler Road and Clay Amick Road.
Paid for by NHTSA. It can happen easily. A few drinks become a few too many. It's time to go, and you think of calling for a ride home. Nah, what's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone, drive sober, or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Some holiday parties are kind of...
They got a workout facility at the hotel that I'm going to have to definitely go hit here in a few hours. Do some elliptical. The pool did not look. It had a lot of leaves in it, so no swimming, no outside swimming today. Huh? Tar Hizzle. What do you go? Scott Tar Hizzle. Yeah.
All right, Bill, we're coming right into the closed bed.
We're not doing it right. I mean, we got just a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
Now we got about 2 more minutes of commercials.
Yeah.
Then I
A
got
minute and a half.
run back over there because I'm charging the iPad here. A lot going on. I meant to shave this morning too. I gotta go back. I really gotta clean myself up here.
I do too.
I'm a fat face because of eating biscuits and haven't shaved. Not stream worthy, stream presentation worthy. So I'll look better. Did get a new watch though. Lauren got me a new watch. See, it's got a little
garnet. Yeah.
It matches my shirt. Actually, it matches perfectly with my shirt. Lauren got me a new shirt and new watch.
New shirt, new watch, new vest.
Radio station got me. I know it was the only clean stuff I had at the house. Tomorrow I go back to dirty clothes. whatever I brought up from the hotel or from the house. They got a little sound system. Yeah. Ready to go. You about back?
Yeah. Yeah, we're back.
Shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Coming up next hour, we will give you a chance to win another pair of tickets, South Carolina, North Carolina, tomorrow here in Charlotte. You can come on up and check us out today. We are at 1402 West Trade Street here. Beautiful Bojangles. And, oh, man, have they fed us. Craig on our Buford Lending live stream, he had the most honest statement of the morning. I've already surpassed 2,000 calories for the day just based on biscuits. I will be He'll be working out later today. But you can come up and join us. Tommy Moody will be here from 12 to 4. And the one, the only Heath Klein in person, 4 to 7 today here. Again, 1402 West Trade Street in Charlotte. If you're coming up, stop by, get some food, hang out with the 107.5 The Game team. We'll be here all day long. And we've got another hour of Patrick and I up next. Oh, it is a glorious day at 107.5 The Game.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
About this, since
All right. Man. One more hour, still have so much to do. Let's see. All right. Actually, I gotta do traffic real quick. Sorry, guys. Let's do traffic real quick. Bill, talk to him for a second.
I think I showed you this before. Before I started working here, when I was here, I was not a skinny little fellow. No. That was probably about 10 years ago. And that was right before I started. That was like the worst. Still had a family. We had several stones. You know, I never got out of it. I couldn't so when we started. And plus, like, nervous and stuff.
All right, back. Sorry, I have to record traffic for the other stations in between breaks, but we're getting Bill out of here because I think he's enjoying the car. Morning, team. Morning, RL. Morning to the Hour 3 crew. Yeah, we have way too much to get to in the third hour, considering it's the last show of the year. So many things about to happen. Yeah, New Year's Day is going to be awesome. Actually, is it? Yes. Yeah, dude. Shoot. Ole Miss, Baylor, Ohio State, Utah, Notre Dame, Oklahoma State is the 1 to 8 slate. Shoot. Man, tomorrow we got Michigan State at Pitt, too. I guess I don't really care about that game since Kenny Pickett's not playing. I did see Hope said she won Cincinnati versus Michigan. Is that what everyone wants? I never really know. Do we want to see the SEC teams because we're the SEC and we want them to be successful? Or do people hate Georgia and want to see Michigan win because they hate Georgia and want to see Cincinnati win because they're an underdog? I actually don't know. What is the SEC fan mindset right now? Come on. I will pick South Carolina. Of course I will. Yeah, I think Tank's, the initial thought was that he was going to transfer, but they talked him into staying. I don't think there's too much incentive for him to leave at this point. Things are going well for him. It'll be his last year no matter what. So why does Harbaugh suck? Because he's a weirdo? Or like he sucks as a coach, or he just sucks as a person? I don't really have a strong feeling about Harbaugh. I just think I like having people like him around college football. I don't really like Michigan at all, so I guess I'm pulling for Georgia just because I picked Georgia from the jump to win the national championship. picked them in like August or earlier. So I want to be proven right.
Yeah, that's true. We need to make some picks, I guess, huh?
I mean, yeah, dude, the whole New Year's 6 is going to be awesome.
The New Year's 6?
Yeah. I should have just gotten rid of this CBS Sports Flash for this hour. We're going to do two segments. So if we want to just start off talking about what?
We're going to do 2 segments? You mean 2 breaks, 3 segments?
3 segments, yeah.
Middle, close.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The third segment's never really a segment. It's more just a closing statement. We never give ourselves time in the third segment.
Second segment, we'll do all the picks. Good?
Yeah. I mean, we don't really have anything riding on it at the moment.
We don't have what?
So we don't really have anything riding on at the moment. If our picks really aren't going to be held to anything. I don't even know what the spreads are. I'm just looking at the matchups.
I got Vegas Insider on my phone. I can. If you can write it down, or I guess if you can just pull it and put it on the podcast, we can go back and listen. Just pull that 8-20 segment, throw it. We can go back and listen to it if you got time. We'll do it that way,
and what?
We can come up with something creative. We can figure something out.
In 132 to 123 upon finish with a triple-double, 32 points, 11 boards, 11 assists, and in the history over 35 to score 30 or more points.
Anyway, yeah, we'll figure something out.
The Kings beat the Thunder 117-111. The Nuggets knocked off the Warriors 89-86. Pelicans held off the Cavs 108-114. Ricky Rubio will have an MRI.
Yeah, I mean, mostly I just want to talk about them because there's actually some cool matchups to bring up. So.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that in a second. We'll kind of recap everything here in this opening one. I got the live. Do you want me to give away? When do you want me to give away these tickets? When is that going to be easiest for you?
Do it right when we end the first segment. I'll read traffic real quick and then I'll do it during the break.
When we end the first segment, I've got to do that QC Kinetics spot.
Yeah. Do it as soon as we end the first break.
All right, so give them away going into the first break.
Yeah.
I'll do it. All right, we're going to sit back over in this chair and y'all can watch me. I'll let this charge a little bit more.
Caller 9.
Caller what?
Caller 9.
Time to make the donuts.
107.5 The Game with Bill Gunter and Patrick Perrette and producer extraordinaire Jen Jensen. The coffee is brewed, the donuts are fresh. It's time for the early game
Hey, will you guys let me know if this ever airs?
on 107.5 The Game.
Well, as far as the early game, this is it, the final hour of 2021. We will not be with you on Friday morning. Tomorrow morning will be myself and Heath Klein getting you ready with a pregame show. So it won't be an official early game. Won't be an official early game show. So this will do it for 2021 for the early game. We will be back with you, producer extraordinaire, as someone calls her, or she calls herself. Jen Jensen will return on Monday, and we'll kick off a new year, 2022, Patrick. 2022. Have you already come up with some resolutions? Have you already started thinking ahead to resolutions?
No.
No. Okay. Has anybody thought ahead to their resolutions, or are we just not even doing that anymore?
I don't think I really do New Year's resolutions. I mean, I just know what I need to do better in my life, and that would be eat healthier and work out. And I could say it's my New Year's resolution, but it won't be. Not during football season. Not during NFL playoffs. I mean, I'm going to eat pizza and wings during NFL playoff days.
It's a good point.
It's just going to happen.
You know what? And if you don't set a resolution, there's no way you can fail at it. That's
Yeah.
a very smart strategy.
I mean, I have a weekly resolution. Every Monday, I say I'm going to eat healthier this week, and
That's okay.
does it happen? Usually not.
Every Sunday night, you repeat that strategy, even when you fail to be. That's a very, very wise. So yeah. So this hour will cap off the 2021 year for the early game. We'll move on to 2022. Again, tomorrow morning there will be a show, so don't feel like you're missing anything. But what it will be was the pregame show. Heath Klein, myself, Patrick may join us. I never know Patrick's schedule.
No,
but,
I will not join you.
Patrick will not be.
That's your thing.
Patrick sleeping in. But so Heath Klein and I tomorrow morning. If you're in Charlotte tomorrow and you're getting up early, you can come visit us. I'm here now. I'm at the Bojangles, 1402 West Trade Street, about a mile and a half up the road from Bank of America Stadium off of 77. We passed 77. I was coming in here about 5:30 this morning. Came up last night, hung out, watched some bowl games yesterday, and then went to bed early, and then got up this morning. Came on over here to, again, it's 1402 West Trade Street is where we're at here in Charlotte. Tommy Moody will be here from 12 to 4 today. Come take pictures with Tommy Moody, and you can talk about, like, say, the 1979. I think it was the Gator Bowl in 79. Tommy can tell you stories about the Gamecocks, and I believe that was Pittsburgh in the 1979 Gator Bowl. He would love to recap that with you. And then Heath Klein from 4 to 7 today, and then you know how Heath is. Heath will want to just tell you about all kinds of stuff and challenge you to sports trivia and brag when he beats you. But you can come visit him as well. 4 to 7 today here at the Bojangles in Charlotte. 1402 West Trade Street is where we're at. So put that in your GPS and come on up here. And again, Heath and I will be here tomorrow morning, 6:30 to 8:15. Patrick, last night we talked about it. A lot happening last night, and really, honestly, for a show that I wasn't, you sometimes these shows you go, well, what are we going to do? We're going to spend 3 hours talking South Carolina and North Carolina? Is that we're just going to preview the game? Well, there was a lot that happened yesterday. Bowl games, the unfortunate passing of John Madden, but certainly the impact he had on the NFL. We hadn't maybe given that the amount of time that maybe we should, but we talk a lot of college football, and Patrick, yesterday, very intriguing day of bowl games because of what it sets up for the next 9 months in 2022. And it really got started with Auburn losing to Houston yesterday.
Yeah. And really the topic has just been the SEC's kind of failure here starting out. And they're going to have for it to be the SEC being the first team to get 13 teams in bowl games, the most the conference has ever had, and then start at 0-4. It kind of did go from SEC fans thumping their chests to SEC fans having to make up excuses for why the SEC teams don't care about bowl games. And Auburn's just a prime example. We only really picked one game yesterday. You asked me in the closing segment who's going to win, Houston or Auburn. I think we both said that Houston was going to win. Weirdly, I think Houston's just kind of the better team than what Auburn is right now, this broken Auburn team. And yeah, it's just not good times for Auburn right now. It's going to be an ugly offseason, and Brian Harsin is going to be coaching for his job after one season.
It's interesting to look at mid-October and to see where Auburn was, to see where South Carolina was. Auburn was 6-2 there, really going into the last week there of October, and things really came unraveled for them. But you think about it, they had the great comeback win, I think early October, Patrick, against LSU. Bo Nix had the ridiculous play where he scrambled to his left, stopped on it, I think spun around and threw it into the end zone. And it looked like Auburn was going to roll to an incredible season and potentially go on to maybe something big in bowl season. And Brian Harsin's first year was going to be an absolute success. They sit here today. They're 6-7. They lost 5 straight games. You're right. Brian Harsin's coaching. Bo Nix is no longer there, going to Oregon now. Brian Harsin probably coaching for his job in 2022. Flip that around. Now look at South Carolina, mid-October. How many of you had South Carolina winning another game after the Vanderbilt game, Patrick? How many phone calls did we take post-Vanderbilt game where Zeb Nolan leads South Carolina down the field and they connects on a last-second touchdown pass with Xavier Legette to pull out the Vanderbilt game? How many people had South Carolina getting to a bowl game at that moment? Wait, Gamecock Larry and a few other people who had not paid attention? Is that fair?
Yeah, it was no one. That was just – I think even before we saw the Vanderbilt game go down, we said before the season, I think we all basically agreed, we thought South Carolina was going to be a 5-win team. They were going to win all their 5 – they were going to lose their last, 4 games? and they were just basically not going to win after mid-October because the schedule got so difficult, and they ended up winning 2 of those games.
Again, drastic change. And that's why I say if South Carolina is to win tomorrow, and they're a 9-point underdog, 9.5-point underdog per Vegas Insider. Coming up in the next segment, by the way, we will make some picks and talk about the New Year's 6 bowl games, as well as the college football playoff, Michigan and Georgia, Alabama and Cincinnati. But, and that's kind of the thing. If South Carolina wins tomorrow, not that the season would be a failure or a disappointment if they lose, but Patrick, you talk about successful first seasons. Will Muschamp had a pretty good first year. There was not a lot expected from South Carolina in 2016, and he got South Carolina to the Birmingham Bowl, but they lost. Shane Beamer, not a lot expected. The schedule 3.5 was the over-under on Vegas victories, and you can say, well, some of the teams, Florida not good, Auburn not good, but are you saying that Florida and Auburn is that much worse than South Carolina? I don't think talent-wise they are. South Carolina still had to find a way to win those games and obviously thumped Florida convincingly. South Carolina wins tomorrow. You talk about the momentum going into the offseason and what it means for the South Carolina football program. I don't know if words can, for a 7-6 team, I don't know if words could put it into description what a win tomorrow against North Carolina would mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's just – I don't. It's not ultimately really going to change anything for next year, but it would feel good. I mean, you want to end your season on a win. You'll always be able to say that Shane Beamer in his first season had a winning record. A team that was expected to win 3.5 games ended up winning a bowl game against a preseason top 10 ranked team. You beat North Carolina for the first time in however long. You exercised some demons from that last ugly game against North Carolina in the very same stadium. Yeah, it'll be cool for momentum. It'll make a lot of people feel good that are driving up an hour and a half from Columbia to Charlotte. You're going to get to celebrate on that hour and a half ride home, listen to the post game, listen to a happy Shane Beamer in your car. It's going to feel good. And you're already feeling good about next season because you've got former number 1 quarterback in the country, somebody that scouts are going to be talking about, pundits are going to be talking about as potentially top 10 pick, a guy with a chip on his shoulder. And it's just going to be a lot of good vibes no matter what. Just don't get blown out, and there's going to be good vibes going into next season. But if you win the game, it's just that much better, and you're going to feel really, really good.
Yeah, I don't mistake in what I'm saying. I don't think if South Carolina wins tomorrow that we spend 9 months hyping them to win the SEC East or as a top 25 team. But what you said, the one thing that is undeniable, you can say a lot about what has happened with South Carolina this year, and we can talk about the positives and the negatives. The one positive I think everybody would have to agree on is at least the culture around South Carolina football, the mindset around South Carolina football seems to be different. Shane Beamer has, last year at this time, Patrick, and maybe a little bit prior to that, the program seemed as broken as I had ever seen it. The fan base was as dejected. There was just, the cloud that hung over Will Muschamp at the end of the season, the way you had guys opting out in season. It just seemed like a bad environment all the way around. And you fast forward to now, the 2 guys who've opted out, I'm not surprised. Enigbare, we kind of figured. Zaquandre White makes sense. I'm not saying it was the right or wrong decision. It just makes sense. You've had some guys transfer, but the program seems to be mentally in a much better place. And that's why I say, again, a win here, you keep all those great vibes going. You get a bang. You can start the 2023 recruiting class maybe with a bang. You get some guys in the boat. You have a great spring game where fans flock to Williams-Brice to see Spencer Rattler and the quarterback competition. And then you go into the summer, and there will be some excitement. You look at it. You look ahead to next year's schedule, Georgia State in that opener. Hey, Sean Elliott and what Sean Elliott just did on Christmas Day, but they come to Williams-Brice Stadium, and that's not going to be an easy cakewalk like Eastern Illinois was this year. And then in game 2, Patrick, is a big program game for 2022. Arkansas, Sam Pittman's doing some big things. They've brought in another big transfer portal wide receiver in Jaden Hazelwood from Oklahoma. So Oklahoma, they'll lose KJ Jefferson, but you look at game 2 next year, and that'll be another massive one for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, and then honestly, it might sound dumb and trivial, but the final image of Shane Beamer's first year of him being soaked in mayonnaise would honestly just be an awesome thing to remember this year by. And it would be such a cool, fun way to cap off what was a fun season and a very family atmosphere in the program and all these things that he's pushing, if your final image of the opening year of the Shane Beamer era is him just drenched in mayo and dripping in mayo doing a post-game interview, that would be awesome.
That is the most. I hadn't thought about that until you
think
brought
about it, though,
up.
because
It's the
people
most
won't remember
disgust-
that.
I don't want to think about it. That is the most disgusting
Yeah.
sight that I can think of is being.
But it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, because that will be a lasting image. I mean, I still remember. Do you remember the Mac Brown's first game was beating South Carolina? Sam Howell's introduction to college football, and Mac Brown was doing that goofy dance in the locker room after his first game, and I still remember that. You think we won't always remember Shane Beamer being soaked in mayo?
Oh,
of course
no.
we will.
Oh no,
and it'll be gross.
It'll be awful. It'll be awful.
By the way, we should since we're doing our picks, somebody suggested that we eat mayo, but we're not doing that. What if the loser has to eat a banana mayo sandwich? You can do that.
I'll agree to that. Sounds
okay,
awful.
banana mayo sandwich. I've never had one. I don't want to do it, but it's apparently not that bad. And at some point, I do need to try it, but I would rather do it for a punishment.
Okay.
Banana mayo sandwich for the loser.
Yeah. All right. We'll do it.
Done. Good deal.
So that's next segment. We will make some picks. Coming up here in about 5 minutes, when we close out this segment, we will give away some tickets to tomorrow's game. And again, as of now, yesterday, Gamecock Central and thebigspur.com we're kind of all over it. Any news regarding COVID testing and protocols, and if guys are out. No word if guys are out. There are some rumors that some guys tested positive, but there's no word on who that was and who's out and what, so forth and so on. Shane Beamer will speak with the media later today. So will several players. So I'm guessing when Tommy comes on, and definitely by the time that Heath comes on at 4:00, but as Tommy and Jay come on around noon, there should be some news. We should have some information just as to what South Carolina looks like from a roster standpoint. I don't know if they will announce everybody that's out. Shane Beamer, Patrick, at times has been a little guarded with injury information, I think is fair to say. So with all that being said, I can't promise anybody that, they'll come out and we'll have a clear picture of what the South Carolina roster looks like for the game tomorrow. But maybe we'll have just a little bit better understanding of what's going on. North Carolina also expected to meet with the media today. And we'll get a little bit better idea from them as well if they've got any issues. So that's coming up later today. Again, Tommy Moody and Heath Klein will be here at 1402 West Trade Street. We are at the Bojangles here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We'll be here tomorrow morning as well from 6:30 to 8:15. Coming up next, we've got some picks, Patrick, and guess that the loser is going to eat a mayonnaise banana sandwich.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Do we have someone out there who specializes in that will be coming to the studio and serving that up for us?
No. We'll make it
No, we're
ourselves.
gonna make it
I don't
ourselves?
want to eat a sandwich that someone else spread mayo on themselves.
Well, I trust our listeners. We have a good listener group.
I don't know. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. I don't really want people spreading mayo on my bread.
Seems fair. All right. There's Patrick Perret. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Coming up on 107.5 The Game.
All right. Right now, caller, Patrick said caller number 9, I believe. Caller 9, 803-404-6100. Call right now. You can win a pair of tickets to tomorrow's Duke's Mayo Bowl, South Carolina and North Carolina. No mayonnaise required. You don't have to do anything but call in 803-404-6100. Caller number 9 will get a pair of tickets to tomorrow's Duke's Mayo Bowl. The Gamecocks and the Tar Heels. Call right now. 803-404-6100. Also, and just as importantly, I need to tell you about QC Kinetics. If you've been suffering from inflammation in your joints, if you've had some problems with your muscles, with tissues, with ligaments, and people are telling you, hey, surgery, it's the only thing that's going to heal it, man. You got to go have surgery. It's not true. It's not true. And also, people sometimes take a wait and see approach for joint pain. Don't do that either. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 803-281-6860. Let the medical professionals with QC Kinetics give you a free consultation and work with you to help ease any discomfort or inflammation or pain that you have been feeling. If you believe that addictive pain medications is something that you have to take, if you're tired of if you're weary of constant chronic pain and you're just exhausted from it all and you're ready to get rid of it, 803-281-6860. That's how you can get in touch with the medical professionals. Regenerative medicine, allowing your body to heal itself. It's what is the proper way to go about fixing your ailments, and now is the time to call QC Kinetics. 803-281-6860. That's QC Kinetics.
Sponsored by Taco Bell. Dreams are amazing, but wake up and
Let's say we're here, it's going to be talking ahead of clocks on the air. Not very exciting. I'm searching my phone over.
Are you on the phone with Ed real quick? Just Patrick is going to, I guess, leave the information for you. I'm assuming it was in the lineup. I was supposed to give away 2 tickets yesterday, or 2 sets of tickets. So we gave one away at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and I did that today. So I'm guessing I don't know how people are supposed to get them.
They're going to be emailed.
Okay. All right.
I'll send Jen these up, and she'll
Who?
Jess.
He's going to leave it on the desk for you, because I guess he couldn't put it. So whenever you go in there, it should be just there. If you'll just.
All right, sweet. I'll just send it over to her.
Okay. Hey, did you get that person's email?
All right. Brandon is our winner for that one. Said he's taking his 10-year-old son. Like hearing that.
Awesome. Did you get his email?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just leave that. We're going to email him the tickets.
Yeah, I got phone numbers and emails from both of them. So.
Do I know?
I got phone numbers and emails for both winners.
Perfect. Yeah, they're going to email him. Yep.
All right, so
Chuck, a banana Mayo sandwich may not be bad to you, but to Patrick and I'm not sure that this is the direction we're ready to go, but we're going to do it.
How many games do you want to pick? I wrote down 10 spreads just in case we want to get 10 to make sure that we don't tie.
How many do you have?
I mean, I wrote down 10. We can do as many as we want, but we can't tie. So I'm not sure 5's enough.
Well, then why don't we'll do both. We'll do tomorrow's game. We'll do Clemson, South Carolina, both college football playoff games. And if you want to pick,
tell me what you want to get. Tell me what you want to get rid of. I mean, we don't have to break them down. We can just do like gut call pick the game too, because right now I've got the Michigan State Pitt game, Ole Miss, Ohio State, Iowa, Kentucky, Arkansas, Penn State, Oregon, Oklahoma.
I'll let you throw them at. I would definitely say the 4 that we just mentioned, and then if you want to pick 4 or 5 more, we'll kind of go through them a little bit quicker, like you said. Then
yeah. I mean, I can just rip through a couple of them. I mean,
and then I don't have anything to write with, so if you'll just get this segment and put it on the podcast.
I got them right here too.
All right, yeah, just write that way. We got it. Yeah, Craig, I agree. Craig says total points in the Carolina game could be the tiebreaker. Or here's what the tiebreaker will be, Patrick. Total points scored in both playoff games.
Okay.
Both playoff games, total points scored. All right.
98. All right, I'm going with 96. Bama wins 49-14. Georgia wins 20-13.
What was that?
That was my total numbers. I just wrote the scores. I didn't look at anything. I just, in my head, picked the two scores that I think they're going to be and wrote them down.
Okay.
I do think Bama scores more than the combined total of Michigan and Georgia.
All right, move back over here.
All right, so
Yeah, that's right. Kept us here and then feds.
Bill, you hear me?
That's right. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Hey. You hear me?
Yeah.
This is the last spot. I've got this last break real short. It's like not even 3 minutes. So if we want to go a full 20 minutes here and push this thing to 50, we can do that. We can make it work.
Yeah, we'll set it up and let's just go through the games. Go through the games that you want to pick first. I'll kind of turn it over to you. You kind of guide us. You guide us, and then when we pick all the games, we'll just go through any others real quick that you want to talk about.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can rip through the ones that aren't that interesting at the beginning, and then we can go through the games that are actually interesting.
Yeah, sounds good. Let's preview a couple of them, and then just kind of guide us and I'll throw it in.
Cool. All right.
Gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TOOL.
And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
I want to remind you, tomorrow, not just is there a big football game, but we are partnering with the American Red Cross to help lessen the severe blood shortage that South Carolina is experiencing. We'll be holding a blood drive tomorrow, December 30th. It will be at the American Red Cross location, 2751 Bull Street in Columbia, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow. All donors will receive an exclusive Red Cross t-shirt. You can sign up online at redcrossblood.org and enter the sponsor code Cumulus Cares. So that is tomorrow. Don't forget about that, our blood drive with the American Red Cross, 2751 Bull Street in Columbia, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And again, you can sign up online at redcrossblood.org and enter the sponsor code Cumulus Cares. All right, we yesterday, Patrick, big set of bowl games, 4 games yesterday, 3 today. We got 3 today. You've got Virginia Tech, Maryland. We kind of discussed that one a little bit. Clemson, Iowa State. We've talked a little bit about that one tonight. Oklahoma and Oregon. But you're excited. There is bowl season is really now in full force, and several over the next few days. And we're going to talk about a few, and then we're going to pick several. And the loser enjoys what some people are calling a delicious sandwich. I don't know if you and I are agreeing with that. Mayonnaise and bananas.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
What do you got?
All right. Well, let's just, for the sake of not tying, we're going to pick a couple that we're not really going to get too deep into, but let's just rip through a couple, starting with one that there's maybe not much to be said because it was supposed to be, it is a New Year's Six game. It's supposed to be a great game, Pittsburgh and Michigan State, but Kenny Pickett opted out. So Pittsburgh opened up as a 3.5-point favorite. Now it's flipped and Michigan State's a 2.5-point favorite. So I'm going to pick Michigan State because I think Kenny Pickett was everything to Pittsburgh. Jordan Addison was the Bletnikoff winner from my high school. Shout out. But I think Michigan State's going to win that game rather easily because no Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, I'm going Michigan State. What are we doing the number there? Did you say 2.5?
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll go with the team who's got their quarterback. Kenneth Walker Jr. not playing for Michigan State, but yeah, I'll go with the team who's got their quarterback. Give me Michigan State.
Okay, and then another decent bowl is Arkansas-Penn State. Is a kind of cool matchup. Penn State opened as a 4-point favorite there, and then Arkansas is now a 1-point favorite. So we're going to do 1.5 points for Arkansas. I'm not sure why it flipped that direction. Is Sean Clifford playing? We know. I assume he is, right?
There's no reason not to. They
I would think so.
I think they had the other kid whose name, if you hadn't asked me, opted out. but not
Okay.
Clifford. Clifford's better be playing.
All right. Well, I'm picking Arkansas because I love Sam Pittman, and I think the SEC is due to win a couple. So the SEC's big-time teams need to start winning games. I'm taking Arkansas. Bill?
I'm just looking real quick here. According to Whole Hog Sports, Patrick, 18 hours ago, Whole Hog Sports, your one-stop shop for everything related to Arkansas, of course. Penn State has had 4 defenders opt out of the bowl game. Second Penn State All-American, let's see, Arnold. Why can't it just be Smith? Do you know how to read this name? Ibigiti?
No.
Does that doesn't read it? Okay,
no.
so 4.
Jahan Dotson opted out though, right?
Yeah.
I did see that.
They've had actually 5 players opt out total. Jahan Dotson, the wide receiver, but they've had All-Americans, Jaquan Brisker, all Big Ten linebackers, Brandon Smith, Ellis Brooks. So, yeah, I'm with you. Give me Arkansas.
Okay. All right, we're both in Arkansas. We need to start picking opposite.
Yeah, because that's it. Just I'm going to pick opposite just to pick opposites. We'll get one.
Okay. All right. How about Ole Miss Baylor? Fun game. Ole Miss, we're going to go 1.5. I think Ole Miss is going to kill them, though, so I'm definitely taking Ole Miss.
You know, this is interesting. Jeff Lebby's not there. But Matt Corral, what is Matt Corral playing for, you think, Patrick?
No, number 1 quarterback taken.
Is he?
Yeah. He's in that discussion.
You know, I know you don't like this. I'm going to go with you on Mississippi. I kind of like Baylor. I don't think Baylor can keep up offensively with Mississippi. That's why I'm going to go with Mississippi. Mississippi will score. Give me the Rebels.
Okay. Yep. Last game for Matt Corral. How about Iowa, Kentucky? I mean, Kentucky is now a favorite. Iowa opened up as a 1.5 favorite. Kentucky is now a 3-point favorite. So we'll say 3.5. I definitely like Iowa. They play very boring football, but I just feel like they're going to slow down Kentucky somehow. So I'm taking Iowa to cover the points there.
I'm going to go against you here. I like Kentucky in this game. Iowa's offense is not good, and this is actually this game fits Kentucky, an ugly scrum around in the mud type game. That's the kind of game that fits the Wildcats. Patrick,
Yeah.
Give me Kentucky.
I mean, if Kentucky scores 2 touchdowns, they're probably going to win the game because Iowa's offense is that bad. So I mean, I definitely don't hate that. I think that's kind of all the boring games. You got to pick on the Rose Bowl. Ohio State is 4.5, and I like Ohio State just because I think they're substantially better.
I'm going to go Utah, man. I
Okay.
think Utah. There's a lot of people that think Utah. If Utah was playing this way at the beginning of the year, they wouldn't have suffered some of those losses. Utah would be your 4th team in the playoff, and not Cincinnati. Yeah, give me the Utes.
All right, good. We got a couple. How about Notre Dame and Oklahoma State? We really haven't talked about this one at all, but I'm kind of fired up for this one. Notre Dame's a 2.5-point favorite. I think Notre Dame's going to crush Oklahoma State because I am very excited to see Notre Dame play, actually, because I think they are ready to send a message to Brian Kelly. They love Marcus Freeman. The videos that come out of that team, Marcus Freeman firing those guys up, I think he's going to be a massive success there. And I think they're going to win this game big.
Yeah, I don't know if they win it big. I think they win. I'm with you. Marcus Freeman. Clemson fans, I think this is one you're keeping an eye on because you look at that schedule next year for Clemson, and it's not that – I mean, look, the schedule's never really daunting, but one of those games that's on there is that Notre Dame game, and I'm interested. I'm with you, Patrick. Notre Dame, a lot of us thought Luke Fickell. Would Notre Dame hold out and go after Luke Fickell? Would they go after, say, a Matt Campbell, a bigger name? Would they go after somebody else they promoted from within, Marcus Freeman? 35 years old, young guy, but you're right, man. The players have rallied behind him. How does he do as a head coach? He kept Tommy Reese, who stayed on as offensive coordinator. I'm with you that Notre Dame wins. I just don't know if they blow out Oklahoma State.
Yeah, they lost nobody from that recruiting class, right? I mean, I cannot recall a single person decommitting after Brian Kelly left.
No, they loved Freeman.
Yeah.
Freeman, I mean, look, his in-game style. Freeman, I think Freeman, and what they had the number 4 recruiting class overall.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is kind of primed here. I don't know their 2022 schedule, like in terms of what big games they have, but that's an interesting team, and how Marcus Freeman handles just in-game decisions. Seems like he has been born for this and has achieved that goal very, very quickly. I'll be very interested to see him coaching again in that game, and how long also he can keep Tommy Reese around.
Yeah, Tommy Reese is a big name, but he is a Notre Dame guy, so I don't know. Maybe he's content to stay there for a while, but I assume it's not going to be. He's also very young. Nobody's going to offer him a head coach job like next year, right? Is he even? He's not even 30 yet, is he?
No, he's not. Just by the way, Notre Dame opens next year at Ohio State.
Whew. Nice.
At Ohio
Where's that
State.
game? At Ohio State? Or it's
At Ohio State.
definitely in Columbus?
Yes,
Sweet.
Notre Dame at Ohio State.
Okay, cool. Love that. Let's see. This is the last one that we've kind of talked about. Oregon, Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma is a 6.5 point favorite right now. I assume just because they have the better quarterback, but I mean, I'm gonna take Oregon.
Better coach.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna take Oregon.
Goodness.
You like Oklahoma?
Yeah. Oh, I like it. Oh, you're taking Oregon?
Yeah, just because Oklahoma is a broken team right now. I mean, the roster is not going to be intact at all.
I think Stoops is going to rally them. They get the better quarterback. They get the better coach. This is a game. You are right. The wide receiver, I wonder if he was practicing with him. I never thought to even look at this. Theo Weiss, the wide receiver the 5-star wide receiver who entered the portal but has elected to go back. I wonder how much practicing he did with Oklahoma the last few weeks, given that he was in the portal. You can enter the portal and still play in the bowl game. Jason Brown could have done that, but the bottom line is I'll take Stoopsy to get the job done.
Okay, good. We're differing a little bit. Now we can kind of get into the more important games. What do you want to start with, college football playoff, or just get this Clemson game out of the way?
Yeah, let's get that going.
I'm taking Iowa State just because I don't want to pick Clemson, but in my heart, I do think Clemson might actually blow out Iowa State because they don't have their best player. But I'm gonna pick officially Iowa State. Plus the 2.5. Plus the 2.5.
I don't want to eat a mayonnaise and banana sandwich. So I'm going to take Clemson. My pride will come with the fact that I don't want to eat. I don't want to lose a bet, and I don't want to eat a mayonnaise and banana sandwich on the live stream or on air. People don't need to hear me gagging and sounding awful. So I'm going to go with Clemson. I think Clemson's got the better players here, and the best player on Iowa State, Patrick Brees Hall, has opted out, the running back. Now you're asking Brock Purdy to carry the game. I think Clemson. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm very interested. I will be hunkered down here in Charlotte somewhere. Check my Twitter account. I'll let you know where I'm at. Probably ending up at Ink and Ivy because I think that deal starts at 6:00 here in Charlotte today. But I'm very intrigued to see Clemson today.
All right. So I hate that this is only going to leave us about 10 minutes to talk about the college football playoff, but I mean, our numbers here are going to be 7.5 for Georgia, 13.5 for Bama. Who has a better chance of cover? I mean, first of all, are we both going to pick Georgia and Alabama in the national championship? I'm assuming.
Patrick, I really want to take Michigan. I think Michigan is underrated. I think Alabama. Now, granted, Michigan does not have Bryce Young, and that's a big deal, right? But I think Michigan exposed some flaws that Georgia has.
Alabama exposed some flaws.
Alabama. Yeah, I think Alabama exposed some flaws that Georgia has. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think Alabama exposed those flaws. JT Daniels has COVID. There's rumors about other players that have COVID on Georgia. And what I don't know if you saw it yesterday. The SEC shorts people, they put out another one, Georgia and Hope. The little girl they use is Hope. Quite funny. It feels, all this talk, Patrick, about Georgia. They were just going to cakewalk to a national championship game. The Braves did it. Here come the Bulldogs. I'm going to call for the upset. Give me the Wolverines to knock off the Bulldogs in the 7:30 game there in the college football playoff. I'm going with the Harbaugh.
So you think they're going to win straight up, not just cover the 7.5?
I think they're going to win. I'm going to take Michigan. I really think Michigan's going to get the job done. One thing I'll say, this is interesting. The SEC bowl schedule. I don't know what you read into it at this point. 0-4. Make of it what you will. A lot of people pointed out Georgia didn't really get tested in the season. That Clemson game was probably their most difficult test. You roll through the other 11 games, you get to Alabama, and Alabama kind of blows you up. Again, I know Michigan doesn't have Bryce Young. Give me the Wolverines. I like the Wolverines to pull the massive upset here.
Yeah, I was going to pick Michigan to cover, but pick Georgia to win the game. But I'm picking Georgia to cover because I've picked Georgia to cover every single week this year because I picked them to win the national championship, and I just want to make sure that I'm right about that. Alabama exposed Georgia in the sense that Georgia's defense is absolutely incredible, but their secondary is a clear kind of weak spot. They're starting young guys. Keely Ringo is going to be a first-round pick next year, but still young, new to the starting role, and that is, I guess, their weakness. But, I mean, Cade McNamara is nowhere close to Bryce Young. I mean, nobody on Michigan, Roman Wilson or Mike Sanders or whatever, Cornelius Johnson, whoever these guys are from Michigan, none of them are Jamison Williams. I mean, Jamison Williams is a different type of dude. So Bryce Young and Jamison Williams being able to expose the Georgia secondary, I don't think is physically replicable for Michigan. They're just not that talented. So I think Michigan's only option is going to be to effectively run the ball, which has been their deal all year. That's how they're successful. It looks like Georgia's going to start Stetson Bennett. So I think that's probably better because I think he'll probably take care of the ball more. I mean, those David Ajabo and Aiden Hutchinson will probably be the number one pick. They're going to be a problem. I mean, Georgia's offensive line is good, but those guys can't be stopped by anyone. So I kind of like Stetson Bennett back there more than JT Daniels because I think if pressure's getting to JT Daniels, he's more likely to just throw YOLO balls and get picks and put Georgia in bad positions. So I do kind of like Stetson Bennett back there. And I'm thinking that this might be more of George Pickens has had now a couple more weeks to get that knee right. He caught that one big ball down the sideline against Alabama, barely played against Georgia Tech in the last game of the year, but now he should be even more healthy. He's gotten a couple weeks of practice and he's gotten 2 tastes of games. I think this could potentially be a big moment for George Pickens too. So I will take Georgia to win and go to the national championship and ultimately win the national championship, but we'll discuss that later.
Do you feel like Michigan can score? I feel like there's a narrative that Michigan is all defense. I just feel like it's a Michigan narrative. It's not this team. I just feel like it's a narrative that Michigan is defense and run. The last 3 Michigan games have all gone over the point total, and I know it was Maryland, but 59 points against Maryland, 42 against Ohio State, 42 against Iowa. I think Michigan scores on Georgia, and I think they actually limit Georgia from scoring.
Well, they can score, but run game and defense is what they are. They just nobody has been able to stop that run game. I mean, their offensive line won the whatever, I can't remember what the name of the award is even called, but the best offensive line in the country. And Hassan Haskins scored 5 touchdowns against Ohio State. He's the only player to ever score 5 rushing touchdowns against Ohio State. So that is the name of the game for them. It's been impossible to stop so far. Georgia is a different level of run stopping defense with those 3 monsters up front led by Jordan Davis. They're not going to be able to do the Alabama game plan, which is keep Jordan Davis on the field because you can throw the ball, and Michigan's just not going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to. They can run tempo and just keep running the ball, but it's not going to matter if Georgia's stuffing them every single play. So they're not going to be able to get spread out like Alabama did.
If Michigan loses this game, is it a disappointing season?
No, certainly not.
If Georgia loses this game, is
Ohio
it a
State.
disappointing season?
Oh, for sure.
A lot of pressure on the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Wolverines win this one.
Yeah.
SEC Wolverines win, and SEC Shorts has an epic
yeah, it will be epic
video with hope. After
well, this will be one of the most I guess nothing will really match losing in overtime at the national championship, but this will be one of the most heartbreaking losses in Georgia history, right?
Right.
I mean, this is their best team maybe they've ever had. I've heard people say that. So that's going to be tough. Bama minus 13.5. I'm taking Bama. Cincinnati's they're not going to be ready. Good for them, but
we just went back and forth for 5 minutes on Michigan and Georgia. Now we get to Bama.
I think this one's simple. Bama. Ahmad Gardner versus Jamison Williams is going to be an awesome matchup because Cincinnati has never given Ahmad Gardner help ever. He's never gotten safety help in his entire career, and he's never given up a touchdown in his entire college football career. That will probably end on New Year's Eve. I just think Bama's going to roll them. I don't think there's really too much to say.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, Cincinnati hadn't played a team quite like this. We talked about all year the win over Notre Dame and Notre Dame, are they playoff worthy? Are they, how good are they? We all agreed we didn't think that they were that good. Kind of a benefit of an easier schedule than most years. That's Cincinnati's prize victory. And right now, Alabama, Bryce Young, it clicked. Everything came together there in the SEC championship game. This is where Nick Saban absolutely shines. And unless Cincinnati had a Trevor Lawrence back there and a whole host of 5-star talents, it's not going to matter. Nick Saban makes his money this time of the year, and he'll do it again with, I think, a pretty uninteresting 3-30 blowout over Cincinnati. I'm with you. Give me 13.5.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm going back and forth on what side of the ball will be more dominant for Alabama because I think they can pretty much score on anyone. But Cincinnati's defense is super talented. Like Majay Sanders, their defensive end, will go to the NFL next year. Darian Beavers will probably go to the NFL next year. They got a couple pros in Kobe Bryant and Sauce Gardner, Ahmad Sauce Gardner, who I already mentioned. Like those guys will all be NFL players, but no one can stop Alabama. I also just think on the other side of the ball, Alabama's defense was not the strong suit of their team, which is a new trend the last couple of years. But I mean, there's absolutely no one on Cincinnati that can block Will Anderson. Like he's got to just be able to feast.
Yeah.
Okay. So very
Don't
simple.
Don't let Desmond Ritter get injured.
Yeah, I mean, just keep his head on before he goes to the NFL. Do you have your total points for this game? Because that will be our tiebreaker. I'll just tell you right now, I'm at 97 because I got Bama winning 49-14 and Georgia winning 21-13. So 97.
97, 97. I got Bama. Let's see. I need to decide on a Michigan win here real quick. I've got Bama winning. I think Bama will kind of call the dogs off. I think you look at what they've done in the past. Give me Alabama like 31 or 34-10. So give me 44 for Alabama. This is to explain to everybody. Our tiebreaker is total points for the game. By the way, the Cincinnati Alabama line is 57.5. The over under 57.5. So I'm going well under on that 40-44. Georgia Michigan. I actually like the over in that game. It's 45.5. I think it's more of a 31-28 type game. So give me 60 for that. So I'm going to go 104.
104. I think Michigan's going to score 28 points on Georgia.
I actually think they're going to score 31.
Oh, yeah, you did say they're going to win. 31 points. 4 touchdowns?
Well, yeah.
For a running team against best run defense in the country?
Maybe a pick six.
You're
a fumble return.
Maybe.
They'll hit a trick play.
That's true. Actually, I legitimately think that Michigan has a better chance of an Aiden Hutchinson strip sack returned for a touchdown than they do of a rushing touchdown against Georgia.
Oh, there's a good over.
There's a good over. All right. Let's just hit a break, and then we'll come back and just end the show with our Carolina pick. We won't do the Carolina pick here.
Look at you. You have grown up in 2021, producing and running the show. He's Patrick Perrette. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Dan Patrick. Weekdays, 9 until noon. On 1.
All right. This will be quick. This will be very quick.
See, is that football?
All right, there's no way we're tying. We've got way too many picks in.
See, there's a good way to be able to finish this out here.
Chuck, you won't have to eat the sandwich for me.
I'm gonna sit it on my cup.
I will eat it. I'm honestly kind of excited to try it if I lose. This one I'm not nervous about.
We were all very professional there. Look at us.
All right, we'll have a good 4 minutes-ish.
Good way. Plenty of time to wrap it up then.
Were you seeing 9.5?
From South Carolina?
Yeah. Right?
I mean, it was on Vegas Insider. Is it gone up?
Yeah, that's what it says. All right, we're back, by the way.
I'm the game with you wherever you go. And now, back to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Final few minutes here for the 2021 early game. Again, tomorrow morning, 6:30 to 8:15. It'll be myself and Heath Klein as we will start our pregame coverage, counting down the seconds, the minutes, the hours until the South Carolina, North Carolina Duke's Mayo Bowl. So you can tune in tomorrow morning, 6:30. It'll be myself and Mr. Heath Klein as we get you ready. And then Friday, Patrick and I and Jen, who's been off, but Patrick and I are off, so no show on Friday. We'll spend some time with the family. We will regroup and be ready to go on January 3rd, a brand new year. We appreciate everybody for joining us this year, for following the ride that has been 2021. The live stream has always been a blast. There's so many people in the live stream that have been fantastic to us and have joined each and every morning and made that a special place and part of our program. We hope you continue to do it. If you haven't, please go to the 107.5 The Game YouTube page. You can go to YouTube and search 107.5 The Game, and you can subscribe. You can join us. T, Anthony, RL, Ferrari. My iPad's a little bit too far away to scroll up. I know Chuck, Hope, Travis, Trey. We got so many good people on there. DC. And I'm forgetting people, and I apologize, that join us each and every morning on our live stream. York, again, a lot of great folks, a lot of great people, and we hope that you'll be a part of that as we move into 2022. We got some big things planned here on this program. We are excited about that you'll learn more about in the coming weeks. And again, we are very happy that you get up each and every morning. You might not always agree with us. You might think we're idiots and we're goofy and we're morons, but we'll take that criticism. Feel free to let us know, or we take praise as well. Patrick, one last game for us to pick here. It will be South Carolina and North Carolina tomorrow. I think you said that the line is 9.5.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. It didn't open up that high. I guess it opened up at around 5.5, and now it's at 9.5. There's just no way I'm picking North Carolina win by double digits. I'm not going to do that. That would be way too negative of a thing for me to do, and I'm not a negative person. I think Sam Howell and Ty Chandler Ty Chandler is a great running back, and Sam Howell as a running threat is really dangerous, and I am scared of it. I'm not 100% sure South Carolina will be able to keep up, but I don't think they're losing by 10 points. I think they'll be ready to play, and I think they'll keep it close.
And I forgot Craig on the live stream. Thank you, Craig. You know what, Patrick? We're positive people on this program. I'm gonna side with you. We picked enough games opposite of each other. I think South Carolina is more motivated for this game. This means a lot. That North Carolina, I'm interested to see Sam Howell. I'm not saying North Carolina's showing up and uninterested. I think South Carolina keeps it close. I do think North Carolina finds a way to get the job done in the end, but I'll take South Carolina to cover the point spread. South Carolina will have a chance late. We'll see how it plays out for it. Patrick, last words for 2021?
It's been fun. Hopes at 1,000 subscribers for 2022. We want 2,000 subscribers for 2022. Right. We got big plans.
We do. We are thrilled that y'all join us each and every morning and that you participate. You're part of the program. It's your program as well. Thank you for everything in 2021. For Patrick Brett, for Jen Jensen, I'm Bill Gunner. This has been the early game.
Happy New Year.
Great New Year.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
All right.
Yeah.
The final live stream
Happy
of the
New
year.
Year to everybody. We look forward to big things. I will not live stream and put Heath Klein on the live stream in the morning at 6:30. He would be very unappreciative of me doing that. But keep on the lookout for Twitter. Maybe we can pop on in the next day or two and do like a recap of the game or something like that. Just have everybody join along. And again, thank you to everybody for joining us this year. We're very appreciative of everything you've done, and Yes, I'm sorry, Craig. I completely forgot about you, but we're very appreciative of you as well.
Yeah, it has been fun. I will be next on here Monday from Nashville, so making that drive, and yeah, we'll get some new ideas for the live stream next year. It's growing very quickly, and it's getting a lot more fun. This thing's getting easy. All right.
Have a happy New Year.
Great show ending the year. Yes, so much to talk about. So much to talk about. We didn't even get to all. Appreciate that, RL. That's all we can ask. All right, everybody. Happy New Year.